Going live? Going live? Okay. I clicked go live and the button went to the off colour. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean then? All right. We are live. All right, there we go.
We did it.
Yeah. I know it seems like we just went live for the first time ever, but we went live using the controls in OBS instead of the YouTube control panel. And the last time we did that, everything went very sideways. And Caradog was just like, do it, no balls. I'm like, all right. Do it. So.
Maybe, perhaps. Also, can you mute me? I've knocked my microphone off.
Okay. Caradog is adjusting himself. Behold, we're early, biznatches. Why did I call them that?
Besmirches.
Besmirched. Anyway, yes, hello everyone. Wait, early? Is this the... Did the clocks go back last Sunday? Was it...
What? Yes.
Yeah, so this is
But also, yes, we are early by
Yes.
2 minutes.
Yes, but this is the first stream on the new... on daylight savings... on British summertime, isn't it? No, that was last week. It doesn't matter. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Did we stream on a Sunday?
I don't fucking know. Hello, everyone. It is Saturday the 6th. It's Saturday, April. It is the first Saturday of April. It's mid-afternoon, man. This is where my mid-afternoon crash kicks in. That's why I always struggle at the start of a stream, because like 3 going on 4 is when my mid-afternoon crash sets in, and I've got to caffeinate and hype up or die. So yeah. All right, how are we doing, people? Welcome to the show. I've got laptops to fix, so we're going to fix laptops. I say fix. These are all assembly jobs, but people like watching us. What people like watching this, so I'm giving the people what they want. I'm going to give you the mouse now. So I've done setup. So yes.
Thank you. Now I'll mute myself.
Oh, I see. I'd forgotten. You could have said. How are we doing, everyone? How's it going? There's lots of names in chat. I'm not going to read them all out because there's too many of them. But hello. Excuses. Where's it? I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Have you got any milk?
Oh. See, I would be angry about that. I'd be like, oh, ha, ha, ha. It's like, well, that was the latest video. So that's, yeah. Like, that feels like ancient history now. But, like, that was just this week's video. So, yeah.
Do you know the thing that I thought was the worst about that?
What?
Is, like, I looked at the stats, like, 30 hours after release, and it had, like, an 8.5% click-through rate, where everything else has, like, a 3% click-through rate.
Yeah, it did well.
And
yeah.
I'm just like...
I'm not mad because, like, it's a very common thing. It's an absolute classic for creators to be annoyed when something that they threw out as a joke or a work in progress gets loads of momentum and engagement, and then the final product no one cares about. Like, this is really common with artists. You put out a funny sketch or a stylized skit comic, and it gets 1,000 likes or something, and then you go, oh, you like that? Here's my real artwork, 10 likes. And it's like, fine. So, like, I'm not mad that the April Fool's video has outperformed everything else I've done in the past 10 videos, kind of thing.
What it means is format shift.
No. But on the flip side...
But views!
Yeah. On the flip side, I'm happy that the video that I spent a day producing has and like actually had to plan and execute and edit actually worked out.
Yes, congratulations.
It's also another one of those healthy reminders that there's a lot of other videos that aren't getting done that I'm just simply overthinking, because that April Fool's video was unscripted, off the cuff. I had a good idea on what I wanted to do, but there was no script for that. And now I'm like, you know what? If I actually get on with it, I can still wing a video pretty well. I really need to start winging it more instead of thinking, no, I should script to increase the information density.
I mean, if you're going to script it, then sure, actually get on and script it.
Well, writing the script I don't have an issue with. It's actually just
But if that's going to
Yeah.
stop you actually making it,
Yeah.
then don't.
Yeah,
Because actually,
if I'm going to script, I need to get a teleprompter, basically, because that's what's holding up the GK2 video at the moment, is because I don't have a teleprompter, even though I positioned the camera like almost hanging in front of the monitor that I was reading from, you can still see that my sight line isn't into the camera lens. And that annoys me a lot. I see it in other people's videos, and it really annoys me when I can see it in my own video on the couple of times when I've scripted something and you can see that my sight line isn't into the lens. So
just do what I do and never look at the camera.
I guess, and but then
the two extremes: very intense eye contact, or never look at the camera at all.
Yeah, but then the other thing as well is whenever I see other people who are not staring directly into the lens, I'm like, okay, they're not looking into the lens because they're reading a script and they don't have a teleprompter. This is understandable. I don't have a teleprompter, so I understand it. And people who are not content creators and won't notice aren't going to care anyway. So I should just not worry about this, because anyone who is actually savvy enough to see what's happening will also understand that this is just simply a fault that I don't have a teleprompter, which is understandable. But also maybe I should just get a teleprompter.
Reply to all of your emails for sponsor stuff, and in there someone will be offering you teleprompters.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. We'll see. Anyway. Can someone give a link to Paul's shop? He doesn't have one, Paul Daniels, but you can get hold of him via his website though. Laptop, teleprompter, remove backlight. By the time you've made that into something that works, you may as well have just bought a teleprompter. Like the one Linus reviewed. I think Linus has done a review of one before. Yeah, you can buy cheap ones. Basically, all you need is a see-through mirror that goes around that you can point a camera through. There are cheap ones out there. A teleprompter doesn't have to be a big, expensive, fancy piece of equipment. Cheap ones exist where you just put your phone underneath and it just magnifies the phone screen that you have your script on. So yeah, there are solutions to this.
It just feels like it'd be really weird with a webcam in it. I don't know why.
Yeah. Probably.
I guess also just because, obviously with that you've got a much longer lens. So you're actually putting effectively, you're only doing exactly the same thing. So
doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So yes, that's the thing.
Assembly.
Yes. Yep. Technology Connections made a video some years ago. Yeah, I think Technology Connections has a video about his teleprompter setup. Yeah.
And how no one else should ever use it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But then on the other hand,
but that's what every content creator says about every part of every process.
That's the thing.
This is not a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just too lazy to change my process.
This is content creators in a nutshell. It's the same with me. You know, I don't really recommend my camera setup for content creation, nor my editing pipeline.
Certainly not the editing pipeline, but I don't see what the problem is with the cameras.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, the cameras are fine. Yeah, especially because I've got good cameras as well. You know, well, actually, yeah, that's not a restriction in the method. That's just a restriction in the tech. And like, you can have someone who'd be like, well, I use a proper camera, which, well, I use a quote unquote real camera, and they've got some ancient 720p SLR kind of thing. It's like, well, these probably get a better picture than that these days. So yeah. All right. Right, what's on the menu today? A stack of Dell laptops with broken display assemblies. So a client brought in 4 Dell laptops, 3 black Latitudes and a silver one, that all had varying degrees of broken hinges and screens on them. I can't remember if it's school or office or what, but they obviously have a small fleet of laptops and these ones are just the pile of ones that have gotten broken, because they're the crappy latitudes that are basically Inspirons but with latitude written on them instead. So yeah, I've got all the parts necessary to build them up. So basically, I just have to go through this pile of pieces and build. We're going to get 3 working laptops out of this. There are 4 here, but one of them also has motherboard problems, and the fact that one of them is going to end up with a motherboard fault, a broken screen, broken hinges, and a broken lid, hinge mounts on the lid, means this laptop is a write-off. So I might... No, I had a quick look at the motherboard. Like, I did some quick stabbing to see if there was an obvious short circuit or anything like that.
Yeah.
Couldn't see anything particularly obvious, so I was like, no, I'm not entertaining this. There is no planet where this laptop is economic to repair. I don't even know where that came from. But
it fell out of my hair. Any fibers?
You never know. So yes. Saw in it. No. I fix laptop. I was about to say I fix laptops properly, but that's a bit... no. I don't like the hot glue method. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't like the hot glue method.
What number are these? Do you know what model they are?
These are Latitude 3520s.
So I was going to say, if the cost of a motherboard repair on it is going to push the cost with parts to more than 250 quid.
Wow, these things are cheap.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because 250 quid buys you a working one off of eBay.
Yeah, absolutely that. Yeah. All right.
That's always kind of a consideration, isn't it, to a degree of, yes, I could repair this, but also can I just buy a better computer for less money than the cost of repair and end up giving the person a functioning device and a better experience?
Yeah. Si says, I need to get into epoxy mount repair. You've managed to get factory spec epoxy metal to metal mount plate repair method going. That's fair. However, what the thing is you have to consider, like, okay, hang on a minute. Let's analyze this. And for the record, that is interesting because there are certain, like, for these laptops, that doesn't make sense, and I'm going to show you why. However, also there are other instances where that would definitely be the desirable solution because you can't get parts, like it's an Asus or something like that. But let's just follow that conclusion about doing a nice epoxy repair. Right. Overhead camera, please. And I'm just going to... I'll just bring the camera down a little bit.
Oh, I was just going to punch in slightly.
Yeah, well, it just means that we don't have to use the punching, because we don't need to be that far out anyway.
Fair.
We only need to be like the size of the laptop. There we go. All right, so here's our display assembly. And so these screw holes here have broken off from the lid. And this is why this lid needs to be replaced. So the proposition here is that we glue the screw holes back in and glue the plate back on and basically epoxy it all together again. Well, the hinge has snapped off from its strut plate here, and as you can see on this side, it's supposed to be attached. The hinge is supposed to be physically attached to this strut. So no amount of epoxy will restore that connection there. So the hinge needs to be replaced. So you still need to replace the hinge, and the lid is 35 quid. So how long are you going to spend doing all that epoxy work instead of just buying a new part for 35 quid, I guess is the question. So I don't know, man.
I think it depends on the design. And as Si says, mainly on Lenovo's because most are epoxy from the factory.
That's fair,
so it's a case of if that is what the factory spec was and it was designed in that fashion, it's going to have, I'd imagine, larger contact areas. So the actual epoxying would work.
That would work,
Whereas obviously where it's, designed to be screwed kind of thing, it's not going to have the contact area. So
that's
it just wouldn't really work.
This is what I mean, where every time someone's just like, oh, do the sawing method and hot glue it, it's just like, what the hell am I going to hot glue here, man? And that's kind of why, and so, I feel like the only time that ever works is on old laptops, which I guess if you're making good on old laptops, sure, but I don't do that anyway now. I just replace.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, it's for metal onto metal. That's fair. Even then, like, you can just buy a replacement assembly for, 40 or 50 quid, and it's kind of like heat-staked keyboards. I don't do heat-staked keyboards anymore. I just buy a new top case because it's so much less hassle. It's orders of magnitude less hassle, and I'm just like, what do I care? The customer's paying, right? As long as it's economic to repair, So yeah, I don't know. I think it's really hard to justify these kinds of repairs. So, but yeah, so we've got a massive pile of laptops here.
Haven't you actually got 3 colours of laptop there?
Just some of them are faded to different colours, I think. Right, I'm going to start with the silver one. How's that? I'll do that to there, and that to there. So the silver one, this one just needs a new LCD in it. So I'm going to get this one squared out the way, and then we'll start working on all the black ones, because these are all in bits. Here's just the body of one, and it's they're all identical models, so it doesn't really matter what goes to where. I've got enough bits to build up 2 of these, and the third one has a dead motherboard, so I don't care. It's not going to get rebuilt. So I'll fix this one, and then basically I just need to build 2 working laptops out of all of this stuff that I have on the counter. So that's the plan. That's the play here. 35 quid is 60 Canadian plus shipping and brokerage fees. Well, I mean, if you're in Canada, sure.
But I don't know why you'd be buying off
I was going to say,
eBay
I'm not sure
UK.
why you're buying from eBay UK in Canada, though, But then Canada is weird, and there's just a lot of stuff that doesn't feel like it's on sale in Canada, but also can't you just get that stuff from America? I see so many Canadians that seem to be importing stuff from the UK, and I'm like, is it actually cheaper to do that than to get it from the US?
No idea. As far as I can tell, the US separately has an issue where just shipping in and around the US is horrifyingly expensive.
Yeah.
But shipping from like the UK into America is cheaper than shipping inside the US to inside the US.
Maybe this is why I feel like I'm going insane when everyone says, oh, it's not as easy as just buying parts and stuff like that. Maybe it's just because I think maybe I take for granted that, broadly speaking, we've got really good access to parts and stuff in the UK. So far as I can tell, I seem to have pretty good access to almost anything that I'd want. Between AliExpress and eBay, there seems to be nothing that I can't get.
Yeah.
If I really want it.
Specialist suppliers, if you actually need to go down that route.
That's it.
Just because, functionally, you can still buy anything in and around Europe. You just have to be aware of, obviously, the fact of tax. Now.
Yeah. So, battery. Maybe I hadn't disconnected
quite seen what you were doing. All I could see was you with a screwdriver and then go, oops, battery. I was like, you're screwdrivering a battery?
No, well, that wouldn't have been an issue until I'd gone to disconnect the display. And when you disconnect or reconnect the display, that's when the battery absolutely needs to be disconnected because, if you get the display cable slightly wonky when disconnecting it, you can short the backlight rail to ground and blow up the backlight fuse. And now your very simple LCD panel replacement has turned into a board repair. But yeah, so maybe that's why I take this stuff for granted, just because we have so much access to parts that it seems silly to be trying to repair parts most of the time. But I guess it also just depends on your business model as well, because I run reasonably high volume. So it's just not time effective for me to be fixing parts.
Yeah. But I think also we're just greatly benefited by the fact that, as far as I can tell, we just have well-priced shipping anyway. And it's just, because DHL, UPS. What's the other one? I always forget the name of.
Every.
No. DPD.
Yeah.
You know, even their pricing to other countries from the UK seems to be lower than other countries to other countries. So yeah, it's just, you know, we seem to get decent rates on that, irrespective of which actual company it is. A lot of the time, we just seem to occasionally get bad rates from China by comparison. But that kind of makes sense just because of the volume.
Yeah.
And obviously the case of, to a degree, the way that the postage is kind of worked out internationally.
I should have opened this lid first. These hinges are a bit vicious. Normally I would open the lid before taking the hinge screws out. This time I didn't, just because I'm on an unfamiliar bench, and I was like, oh, it's fine, I'll just pull the hinges open. And these ones are monstrously stiff.
Are they actually stiff, or are they just not any leverage? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a leverage issue there, yeah. There we go. Right. Oh, antennas.
Ah, my antennas. Yeah. Every have stolen my stuff this week. Damn it, Si.
I count my lucky stars that the local Every drivers seem to be reasonably competent around here. Like, I've heard enough horror stories to not trust Every, but thankfully my local one seems to actually be competent and stuff arrives. However, I would never willingly have something delivered by Every. Yeah. All right, so just you can see in the light there, you can see that crack across the screen there. So usually if an LCD panel is cracked, if you look at it in the light, you will be able to see that crack. That's not a sure thing. When these laptops were looked at during the week, the first procedure was simply to just one by one turn them on and just go, is there a picture? Are the hinges intact? What part of the hinge is broken? Make a list of all the parts that are broken and all the parts that are intact, and then we can make a shopping list of what we need to buy to fix this job lot, basically. And the shopping list, although the black ones, there were 3 black ones. All 3 of them had broken top lids. One of them had broken hinges, and one of the LCDs was cracked. But by moving all of the parts around, the only parts that I actually needed to buy were 2 top lids, a set of hinges, and an LCD. So the actual shopping list of parts was relatively low, because by moving all of the good bits around, where one of them has a dead motherboard, essentially we're shuffling all of the actual broken bits onto that one, writing one of them off in order to lower the repair cost for the other 2. Which I think makes the most sense, personally.
Yeah.
From a cost analysis standpoint. Right, this display assembly is going to put up a fight, because the modern Dells, they have double-sided tape all around the inside of the LCD to stop dust getting in there and for liquid resistance and stuff like that. So these are going to fight a little bit, but because the LCD is broken, I can be really brutal to it and just wreck it. It's just the bezel that I have to be careful about. If we snap the bezel, then we're kind of dead. So yeah, I don't want to do that.
Does the silver one have a different bezel to the black one?
I believe so, yes. A new bezel is like £10 on eBay, so it's not the end of the world if you do snap one of these, but it just means that I'll have to order another part.
It's just a right pain.
Yeah.
Oh,
IPA
yeah,
for the glue. You know what? I'll try that. I normally don't bother, but let's put that to the test.
Have you got a needle to like actually stick it under to squirt out the IPA? Just because that's how I always kind of see it recommended, is to like, you know, have it in one of the little like needle things you can actually kind of...
I guess. I mean, I find IPA is so thin that it will work its way in anyway. So like, yeah, my strategy is just going to be just to squirt around the edges there. And because IPA is such a thin watery substance, that will just work its way in anyway. So, I mean, I guess the needle might get in there, but I don't know if I don't think I'd want to do this if the LCD was intact, because if the IPA gets into the LCD, it'll go between the layers, and that can cause the LCD to go funny. Theoretically, given time, it would dry out, but I wouldn't want to bank on it. And yeah, it's not uncommon to be doing this job where you have a broken hinge but an intact LCD. So you're taking a bezel off like this, but you have to not crack the LCD in the process.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, there we go. That bit just sliced straight off. I think it's just taken all of the lining off of the LCD. Hard to tell. Yeah. However...
Lining? What, is that like a little foam edge or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure. When this LCD comes out, we'll just... like I can see just the markings on there. I'm like, that's not what it's supposed to look like. But we'll have a look in a second, just see exactly what has come off and what's been left behind. Yeah, certainly the IPA is making this easier. Whoops. Oh, that's fine. I just stressed that quite a lot, but it didn't snap. I need to slow down. The IPA just immediately made me extremely greedy.
Oh no!
Yeah, so I'm actually going to slow down now because I was this close to snapping the bezel just then. So
my hubris.
Yeah. When it comes to the bottom of the screen, what?
I had a notification that came up on my watch with zero context, and it just said, person name has been found in their bed. Stream will start shortly. And I was like, what? I was like,
Going live to person's bedroom.
Yeah. And then I saw context. It was just like, oh, I see, okay.
It is 4 p.m. Can you please explain why you're still in bed? Well...
Depression.
I've got depression, yeah. Right.
I was at a rave this morning.
Oh, I think that's just the other side of the double-sided tape. I've cut down the middle of the double-sided tape, if that scans. Yeah. Oh well. Right. How is this guy coming out? I don't see... Oh, there's stretch release tabs in the top corners.
Are there?
Yeah.
Ah, I see, yes. That's not how you do them, Graham. Slowly. You told us this last time.
Look.
Yes.
Listen.
Yes.
All right. Listen.
Yes.
Easy. I don't know if this noise is coming through the mic or not, so... Yeah. Lovely.
You still find that actually there's still...
Sorry.
Okay.
I catch you by surprise there, my bad.
Child.
Alright, we'll go for the side pull. Oh, no, that's going to snap. Squeaky meows. I like that, yeah. Plastic isn't trash on this one. This one's just the LCD we're replacing.
Oh, the hinges are still good on this
Yeah.
one.
Otherwise I wouldn't be taking the display assembly apart because the screen's cracked, so if this was dead as well, what are we even doing this for? I guess you'd be taking the hinges out maybe, but yeah. Okay. Right, LCD.
I don't know. You're the one who fixes laptops for a living.
Apparently. Does that make me a professional?
I do other things.
Like work in an office?
Some of them may or may not be crimes.
Business. Numbers.
Science.
All right. Oh. Yeah, that's fine. So I felt something else coming with me then. I thought I was about to tear something off. Okay. That's fine. Groovy. Right, how's this all looking? That is all in good condition. So I just
Professional.
really only need one LCD.
I mean, up to 2 of them could be broken. Because you're writing off one laptop.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, there was one broken LCD on those other ones, which was going into the write-off, and the other 2 LCDs were good. So, yeah, we did only need one LCD. Fine. Okay, right. So I'm going to dig into the box. Could you hold that for a moment, please? Thank you. Whoop.
This is an LCD.
Whoop. Thanks.
I can tell by its liquid crystals.
Got to hold it the right way up or they'll all fall out.
Oh no. Imagine.
Okay.
You can only use this laptop.
Oh, that's fine. That's just the thing on the top. I saw a mark on it. I was like, is that a crack? But it's just the cellophane.
Have we broken this already?
I haven't broken anything. How very dare.
That's the one every stole from me.
Right, so that's going to go in there and lay down. I'm going to put some Tessa tape in.
Have you contacted every Psy and have they said they're going to fix your problems?
It's quite a big undertaking. What are you laughing at?
You!
What, me saying that fixing size problems is a big undertaking? I'm allowed to start some fights.
Selling is Seller is sending another screen. Good.
Hypocrisy does not invalidate a point. Right. I usually just put an inch of double-sided tape in the corners, which I find is more than adequate. And because you haven't put a full length, it is actually possible to remove it again afterwards if you have to. It's unpleasant, but doable.
How does the screen stay together? Oh, it's got clips on the bezel, and that's it.
That's it, yeah. But they hold together pretty good.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
That's it. Like, it doesn't look like there's much holding it all together, but by the time it's all in place, it doesn't come apart.
And the hinges are on the back bit, and you attach the screen to the back bit.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to say it's a strong design, but that's like down to the design, not how you've glued in the panel. So.
Oh, sigh.
I prefer to take the full length. I bet you do. Right.
Yes.
Connector. I should probably have done a test on this panel before committing to fitting it. However, I'm going to roll the dice on that because A, I've already gotten this far, and B, screens like this, I very, very rare, like bad display panels like this, unless they are visibly cracked or something, like there's visible damage from transit, a duff one is almost unheard of to me. Like MacBook screens and stuff, you want to test that, but a bare LCD panel like this, unless there's physical damage to it, I've never seemed to have issues with them.
Does it have more than one sitting location?
it has got a little bit, so I'm just going to lay that down lightly. That'll still lift up again. And I'm now just going to offer up the bezel and just see exactly how it wants to sit. It looks like I've got that about right where it is, which is a very diplomatic, roughly in the middle. So I'm going to commit to that.
Your laptop.
Fingerprints.
Your laptop. Lovingly caressed by our technicians.
Right.
They receive great pleasure from your repairs.
I'll let you finish that joke, yeah.
No, that was it. That was the finish.
Need a shop cat helper to pat the screen into place.
I mean, Sai is the one who is collecting the cats.
It's true. I'm jealous of Sai's many cat visitors. Good, right, that looks good. Let's...
It's okay, when you get rid of all the e-waste, you'll have space for a cat bed.
What, for all the cats that I don't have?
And then you can have a shop cat. Shop cat.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Reconnection
And then
successful.
OBS reconnected.
Do you just want to move the camera control panel out of the way, just so we can see the bottom line? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've got the bit rate at the bottom of the screen anyway. Yeah.
And just it's saying connected.
Oh, weird.
Okay, that was bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. We didn't lose internet connection, so.
No. Internet worked, chat was still working, OBS just said no.
Yeah, that's really weird to see, to get a disconnect like that isn't your internet going down, basically. So
I blame YouTube. Damn their RMTPS servers.
Apparently, yeah.
Or TMPS servers. Whatever. Acronyms. Letters.
Numbers.
What do numbers mean, Mason? I never actually played enough of that to know what the numbers meant.
No, I haven't played that one at all. What is that, Modern Warfare 2 or something?
Black Ops 2?
SE.
I think.
Advanced.
1. Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2.
Advanced Battle Store Box Front.
Box Front Store?
War from the Future. And Knuckles or something, I don't know.
What?
I'm trying to make up a name for the next Call of Duty game.
Wouldn't it just be called Call of Duty 3? I mean Call of Duty 4, because we've had 1, 2 and 3 now.
We've also had 4.
Yeah, but we've just had 1, 2 and 3. We're currently on Call of Duty 3 is the most recently released one.
I don't like what you're doing.
So the next one will be 4. I'm adding 1 to the number. That's what I'm doing, Graham.
This is why I don't know anything about modern Call of Duty games.
I thought you were going to say,
care.
this is why I don't know anything about games.
How dare you? I'm a gamer.
I don't know how numbers work. I'll have you know, I've played Pal World. That makes me a gamer.
How very dare. Come to make an announcement. Right.
No.
Man, I am really committing to this with 0 testing.
I have confidence in my abilities.
Yeah. But also...
I am full of hubris.
Yes.
My hubris is full.
There's a very I think there's a very interesting observation to make when people talk about confidence and stuff like that, is recognizing the difference between being confident and being foolhardy. Because those two look awfully similar, but are not the same thing.
I mean, yeah, anytime anyone ever calls me out on anything, my line is usually along the lines of, is it really cocky if you know that it's true?
Yeah, I suppose.
And then allow them to digest what my implication is from that. Are you wishing to have the final Foey Valley?
I don't mind. I stole another one last night, so I've had a couple of those. So if you fancy one of those, you can have it.
Oh, there's a screen on the floor.
And
There was
I
a
will,
box of cider.
Yep, and I will have one of the Hogans.
Oh, you've also had one of the Hogans.
Yeah, I stole a Hogan's and a
Deep
Foey.
and smoky. Oh, there we go. You can have that one.
Oh, this is the salty one, isn't it? Goes against the grain. Was this the salty one?
It was the one we didn't overly enjoy.
Yeah, saline sour. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no, there's multiple of them. I can't believe we've got multiple of the salty ciders. I'll have to find the thing. Salty Tears cider. I'm gonna have to look at things that I can. Oh yeah, we decided it was I needed to cook some pork chops in cider. That was the plan.
Oh.
Is it just a couple
It's a slightly different selection, I think.
Fair enough.
I'm going to. What's that one? That's a random peaty one.
Peaty. Oh yeah. Deep and smoky. I'll try this one out. I tried the dark and smoky dry one last night, and it was fine, but wouldn't be one that I would pick up again, if you see what I mean. So yes, I don't like all of the Hogan's flavours, definitely. I think they're really good ciders, they're just not all for me.
I put it down and then you picked it up, and I hadn't processed that you picked it up.
I picked it up and put it down a few inches in a different location. Right, come on, focus. I'm just putting this thing back together again. Dump sugar in it. Oh, what, like into... that feels wrong, because like there's probably already a crap ton of sugar in it anyway. So it feels... I suppose you could put a little bit of sugar into an overly dry cider. Is that literally just how you make a dry cider into a sweet cider, just by adding sugar? And I know that sounds like a stupid thing to say, but...
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I would assume there is slightly more to it, just in the sense of obviously like the alcohol content and the fermentation.
Yes, that would make sense, yeah.
The fermentation process even. Just kind of it affecting kind of what else is in there. But slightly, yes, you would make it sweeter, but I don't think you'd make it less dry.
Huh. This laptop has a intrusion sensor on it, which I've just spotted.
This laptop has an intrusion.
Yeah. Well, I spotted these two prongs at the back here and was like, what are those for? What are those contacting? And there's a corresponding metal tab there, and I was like, what purpose does that serve? That's not an antenna or anything, but it's literally just a copper band, so the laptop knows if someone's taken the rear lid off. It's just an intrusion sensor. So yeah. Just not something I've spotted before. I've not a doubt in my mind that there are other latitudes that have them, but yeah, it's one of those interesting things that you... these are all the little things that are different between a consumer laptop and a business laptop. Yeah, business laptops actually care about this kind of thing. That's going on the wrong way around. There we go.
You will go in the wrong way around. I am with this cider. It is a quality cider of fine taste. It is not of great appeal to me, I think is kind of the way I'll put it.
Yeah.
Like, it tastes like a good cider. It doesn't, it's not bad. It's just like, no, this isn't tickling my fancies.
Yeah, I have to confess, that's kind of my opinion of it. It's definitely a decent quality cider, but it's not changing my world. It's not. Now and then you'll drink a cider and be like, wow, that's really nice. I like this a lot, you know. Whereas that's a cider where I'm like, this is a good quality cider, but it's not my jam kind of thing.
Is it super high alcohol?
This one, I'm not
really.
sure. No, the dark and smoky I had last
it's only
night.
a 5.8. It feels higher alcohol than that.
Yeah. What was the one I had last? The one I had last night was also one of their dry ones. I think that was a 6.4 or something. It was slightly above this one.
Yeah. I feel like it needs just a dash of water in it or something, effectively.
Oh, I quite like that. I prefer that to the one I had last night. The one I had last night was there was another one in there that was deep and smoky, but it wasn't the peaty one. And this I definitely like this one versus the one I had last night. So yeah, that's yeah.
Like,
if
that makes sense, it's very nice and it's very drinkable, but it's kind of a case of it's not titillating.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me go, oh yeah, I want another 6 bottles of this.
No, I quite like that one. Yeah, no, I'm on board with that. As I say, after my experience of the other deep and smoky one last night, when you put this one in front of me, I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy this one as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's for the win. Open bottle precariously over laptop. Yes, I shall be careful. Right. Have I got any more screws left? Hinge screws. Kind of need those.
Oh, swapping from that to that makes that feel like it has an ever so slightly champagne hint to it.
Yeah, that's quite light. I think I described that one last week as being bright.
It is very light, yeah.
Yeah. That's quite a bright cider, that one. Like I say, the flavour for it I could take or leave, but it's a bright, refreshing cider, I think.
There's definitely a bit of that kind of champagne.
I think that might have been what I didn't like about it, because I don't like champagne.
Yeah. There was definitely a brute champagne mid-tongue feel.
The weird thing
to
is...
get super specific and pretentious with it.
I would almost describe that as perhaps floral is the word you're looking for. But also, I generally quite like floral ciders. It's not something I go for, but I don't dislike them when I taste them. Whereas, as I say, the Fowey Valley one, the taste didn't change my world. But again, it was quite a bright, summery cider. It's a good cider,
I think that's the thing I like about certainly the couple that we've had. It's just the fact of kind of going, oh yeah, no, actually I am loosely aware of what makes a cider good, whether I like it or not, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I am capable of separating those two parts in my own tastes.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
There are certainly ciders here where, I can taste them and I'm like, this is quality, there is depth in this flavour, it's just not my cup of tea, so to speak.
Yeah.
Whereas when you drink something, like for example, like the Blackthorn that I've been working through, like that was a nice cider, but it was also trashy. That was not high quality cider. That was cheap supermarket cider, and like nothing doing. I enjoyed it, you know. But that was the one where like you drink it from a can when you're planning on getting a bit tipsy, not because you want to enjoy high quality cider.
Absolutely, and I say that as a thing of not a case of, oh yes, I'm able to do this, aren't I so good? But a case of cider as a thing that I have that ability to discern.
Yes.
Because, for example, whiskey, I cannot actually taste any difference between 99% of whiskies. So I can't tell you if it's a rich, complex, good, high-quality vintage one, or if it's cheap Tesco crap.
Floor lamp, you must be new here.
So it's kind of a case of I just cannot tell with whiskey, because the only taste I get from whiskey is burning. So it's kind of that thing. To me, it's a case of I'm pleased that I can discern that with cider, and I have that separation on the taste, and it's very nice.
Yeah. We've got a sign of life light here, so it is posting. It's not posting, it's thinking of posting. Screen has lit up. Dell logo. Warning battery is low. Okay, will you give me a Windows boot?
No, because there's no SSD.
There's a tiny little one in there.
Did you actually reconnect it though? I was being facetious. And
oh,
funny.
okay, yeah. There's a Windows 11 thing. I'm going to very quickly move this off screen in case it suddenly pops up with people's names on it. But as you can see, this is
Or
functional.
horrifyingly expose wallpapers.
Yes. Yeah. Calvin pissing .png.
Oh no! It's now going to try and do updates with very low battery.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. That's a fully functional one. Good.
Does this charge off of USB?
Yes, it does. So yeah, right. That is good. So I'm going to give that a clean shutdown. That turned off awfully quick, so I think the battery just died as I clicked shutdown. But yeah. Either way, one down. I'm going to put that on the done pile.
Congratulations.
All right. Done. On to the next one. Yes, just finishing that conversation about cider tasting and stuff like that. I think the other thing that's interesting is that, like, this was, I think I may have said some of this before, but my friends are into craft beer, and I've always been a bit jealous because, like, we'll go on brewery tours or we'll be down at a pub and they'll be trying whatever is on tap and stuff like that and be like, oh yes, this is XYZ, and yes, that's quite a nice flavour and stuff, and I'm like, kind of jealous because I don't really like beer, so, you know, like, I'm not enjoying participating in this. Mm-hmm. However, even though they don't like cider, but like when we have a social gathering and they've bought some beer, they'll usually get a cider for me as well, and I'll be like, oh, thank you. And they'll be like, what do you think of the cider? And I'll be like, oh, well, I've tried quite a lot of different ciders now, so I can tell you about this cider. And it is possible to do that with cider. It is not unique to beer, basically. Mm. So yeah.
It's kind of the thing that's slowly getting into with loads of different coffee beans as well.
Mm. Yeah.
It's kind of being like, oh yes, there are differences here.
I don't really think very much about the differences with coffee, just simply whether I like it or not per se. But yeah. Right, that needs a dust. I'm just going to give this a quick blat with the air compressor. I will be 10 seconds. And then we'll start then I need to dig out bits of display and build a display assembly to attach to this laptop.
I need to pick out bits.
Yeah.
Peanut butter.
Stand by, everyone. Noise.
Peanut butter whiskey. That does not sound like a great option, personally. Feels like a waste of peanut butter.
Was Caradog fast enough with the mute?
Yes.
Aha, very good. All right.
You're sipping whiskey as a cinnamon-flavoured whiskey. Isn't that just called Fireball?
Maximum offence. I quite like Fireball, actually. Yeah. But I've had what I've been told is a high-quality whiskey before and been like, not my thing, if you say so, kind of thing. But yeah.
I was at corporate events in London.
Business,
where they had put substantial amounts of money behind the bar for free drinks.
Damn.
And they were handing out, you know, kind of whiskies that were like £200 or £300 per shot.
Wow.
And I was just like, okay, I see.
That's one of those moments where you're like, I want to try this because you don't.
Absolutely. I was trying all of them, but I was just like, this is firewater. This is firewater.
Yeah.
This is ditch firewater.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Is like you want to try like something like that given the opportunity, but also you know that it's probably wasted on you. You know.
I just enjoy the fact that it's just like corporate.
Right, that's an empty box.
Yes.
Right, there's a top lid. So I need to find some bits of display. Okay, right, so we've got a top lid here. I've got some hinges here. There's a left and a right hinge. Then I need Wi-Fi antennas and a webcam, which I'm going to take from this broken assembly. So I need to get the webcam out and the Wi-Fi antennas. So I'm going to start doing that. Was I watching the Big Clive Soda Stream the Fireball? I saw the thumbnail for that in Upcoming. How did it go? Did he successfully Soda Stream Fireball?
I also just like the fact that you take those words. You're just like, did he Soda Stream a Fireball?
Yeah, and he liked it. Oh, interesting.
Ah.
Yeah, I often see the Will It Soda streams popping up. I've never sat down for any of them, but I like the idea of it. I think there's something very funny to that format. It's like the old Will It Blend YouTube channel. You know, I like just the Will It X thing. Will it deliver to you? Yeah.
Will it give it to you?
It's kind of like ordinary sausage, except ordinary sausage is more deranged. But yeah.
I was forcibly shown that once, and I was just like, I see.
Lead sausage.
I was like, I see. Is this what certain people watch on the internet?
Well, come on, some of them are funny.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there are lots of them that. I think the good ordinary sausage videos are the ones where there's actually a chance that it will work. Like, there are some of them where he's just made like a dirt sausage, and it's like, that's just dirt. That's not, you know, and like, yeah. Whereas when it's something that is really bonkers, but also actually has a chance of producing some interesting food, that's the most interesting, I think. So yeah.
I enjoyed the fact that JD appears for the mentions of high quality whiskey. It's okay, JD. You too could go work in London. Go work in the city.
I saw a TikTok yesterday for, I don't know the name of the channel, but it was some place that does handmade marshmallow, and they're based on the Shetland Isles. So it was the most Scottish accent ever to Scottish, like so yeah, it was thick enough that because it was posted in the Discord group that I was in voice chat with, and they were like, "Oh, listen to this and tell me if you can understand a single word of it." And I was like, I'm getting like every other third word and understanding it based on the context of every third word, you know. And all of the Americans were just like, not a single bit of it. No idea what she's saying. Absolutely no idea. You're telling me this is English. I don't believe you. You know, I'm like, well, English is a strong word, you know, but so, there's a lot of words there that are not really English, but, you know.
Yeah, and
this is kind of like saying that
that's
Dutch
also
is German, you know.
In a non-insulting fashion, some of the words weren't English. They were probably Gaelic or Scots.
I suppose, yeah.
If that makes sense, you know, that kind of separation is the fact of, obviously, there's talking English with a Scottish accent, and then there is someone who speaks Scots or something like that, and you're just like, no, this is literally another language.
Unintelligible. No, Marcel, I have, I will take a swing at quite a few accents, but every time I try and do either Scottish or Irish, I make a horrible mess that is neither Scottish nor Irish, but trying to be one or the other. So yeah, I can't do a Scottish or an Irish accent. I've tried a few times, like for the sake of doing the funny voices on stream, and yeah, anytime I've tried it, I'm like, no, that's not. I can't do that.
This is not anything close to what I intended.
Yeah. The closest I can do is some horrible bastardization that is if I'm trying to do like Flintheart Glomgold from DuckTales or something like that, and his Scottish accent is deliberately terrible, because that's part of the joke of his character, is he's not actually Scottish, he's just pretending to be Scottish. DuckTales is a wild ride, but it's also legitimately a really good cartoon, so, you know. I'm talking about modern DuckTales, not the classic one.
I'm also just kind of going, okay, I don't know what this is, but okay.
But you're aware of. Have you heard of DuckTales?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm just like,
Yeah, okay, but that is the extent of your knowledge, is you are aware that that is a franchise that exists.
My yes, knowledge is the fact that there is DuckTales.
Woo. Every day they're out there making DuckTales.
DuckTales! DuckTales feels like something that Sega would have made in the early 90s, to me.
Yeah, like it was mostly made famous. There was a Game Boy. I think the famous version was NES. I think there were Mega Drive DuckTales. So yeah, the reason why I hesitate there is because there are famous classic games of it, but I forget if they were multi-platform or not. However, we're wildly off topic here, so which isn't like us at all. Also, I put that in the wrong place. That's why it didn't feel right. The Game Boy versions were good as well. Yeah, I think I played a lot of the Game Boy game of DuckTales.
I had a Game Boy, and I'm 99% certain the only game I played on it was Pokemon Blue.
Mm-hmm.
And then I subsequently didn't have a Game Boy. And I don't know why.
Yeah. Real Engineering put out, I think it was on April Fool's or the day before. It might have been.
It was actually April 1st.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if it was an April Fool's video or not, because like it's sufficiently off topic enough that it could be an April Fool's, but also it's just a really, really good video about the Game Boy, which
I thought it lacked any substance whatsoever.
It depends on how you look at it. There wasn't a lot of real technical details, but I think it did an extremely job of I think it did an extremely good job of writing a love letter as to what it was to be a Game Boy kid. You know,
yes.
What the screen was like, what the struggle of the screen, the struggle of the batteries, the struggle of the kind of, well, I say the struggle, but the kind of games that were available on it, and like the intent behind the principle of the Game Boy, and how it was a very interesting insight into Nintendo's rationale of making a console that was not necessarily better than the competitors, but vastly more accessible, which also kind of shows through to their modern stuff like the Nintendo Wii and the Switch, for better or for worse.
Yeah. It's the thing that surprised me, completely off topic, but kind of a tangent to that, is the the sales volume of the Switch versus the sales volume of the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. And Nintendo's revenue compared to Sony's gaming revenue. And the fact that Nintendo Switch has outsold the PlayStation by like 5-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
But Sony's revenue on console is like 3 times higher.
Yes.
And it's just kind of a case of it's just like, huh.
Interesting.
That's an interesting position to be in, that you've outsold the PlayStation by like 3 times the number of consoles, but your revenue is a fifth? Or you've outsold by 5 times and your revenue is a third. I can't remember which way around it was. Whatever I said. Numbers! But yeah, just interesting that's kind of the situation. It's just like, okay? You know, how is that kind of the case?
Yeah, very odd. Not sure how. Sorry, I was slightly distracted while you were talking about that, because there was a knock at the door and then a crash from outside, and I'm just like, we good? Okay, don't know. Part of me was just like, am I going to go and look, because that might be a delivery or something? I'm like, I'm not expecting anything, so nah.
It's a delivery of bees!
Right.
Sorry, that reminded me of a joke. Yes, I went to buy 12 bees, and the beekeeper gave me 13. And when I questioned it, he said, "Oh, don't worry about it. That one's a freebie."
How's chat doing? Right.
Oh, it's size every stuff.
Oh, Reploid says, vividly remember external power supply for my Game Boy just because batteries weren't cheap. Same. I powered mine off the mains a lot as well for the same reason. Yeah. Like this is why I think that video was interesting, because it did focus a lot about, you know, power and stuff like that. And because I remember spending a lot of money on batteries.
It is in my pocket, Si.
So yeah, that kind of hit close to home for me. And it's still something, like the two things that I think modern kids will never know the struggle of is, A, batteries, just because now we can just rechargeable LiPo everything, and power is almost no object to, you know, within reason. And the other thing is just LEDs, the fact that everything can be backlit and illuminated now. Whereas again, like the Game Boy, there was no illumination, you know. So yeah, that was always a struggle, and all of the methods of illuminating a Game Boy sucked. You know, they were all terrible. Because I had multiple different ones of them over the years.
I remember there being like a clip-on magnifying glass with incandescent bulbs in.
Yes.
And I was like, the magnifier is of poor quality and distorts the screen horribly, and the lights don't actually work. No. How did this get to market?
That was just the best there was. Yeah. The last time that got close, it's very interesting because there was actually an endgame version of that for the Game Boy Advance that I owned, which was, again, a magnifier screen. This is for the horizontal Game Boy Advance, original one that I owned. Magnifying the screen, and it actually had a tiny little CCFL tube in it that provided an actually reasonably good white balanced light to the screen. And that was really interesting to own as a end game version of that. By this time, you know, the SP was right around the corner, and it was like the bit, you know, the lack of backlight was now an Achilles heel instead of being something which was just not really viable. Because like obviously the Game Gear was backlit, but the Game Gear ate batteries for breakfast, so you know.
Yeah, apparently you got something like 4 hours of use or something.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
Batteries.
Yeah, from watching that video, I didn't realize it was that poor. I knew that they were notoriously thirsty, but not to that extent.
Yeah.
Right, I need a display cable. Did I leave it? No, I didn't. Right. Well, here's something. Oh, that's a broken. Okay, we knew that there was one. We knew there was one broken screen in here. So that is all rubbish. That has a webcam and some antennas in it. So I'm going to put this down here, but I'm not going to carelessly discard it. Right, display cable.
Literally 8 batteries before breakfast. Very good.
The SP was such a step up. Yeah, I will still die on the hill that the SP was the best Game Boy. Yeah, that's still my opinion. Although that much being said, I think that the SP that I was familiar with was one of the later backlit ones, not one of the early frontlit ones. So if I actually saw a frontlit one, I might think otherwise.
Is there just a list of all of the versions?
Yeah, just Game Boy Advance, probably. Actually, it depends on what you want, because there's Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, and then DS.
I meant the Game Boy family. Wait, what?
Oh, over there, I think.
Oh, I misread it, and I thought there was a Game Boy Watch.
Oh, right.
As in a watch that played Game Boy games. I was like, hold on a moment.
Is this upside down? Am I going insane? Oh, that webcam is broken.
Yeah, Game Boy.
Balls. That's fine.
Game Boy, Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Color, Advanced. Yeah. Micro, SP, Mini. I've never seen a Mini.
Pokemon. Oh, interesting. That just exclusively runs Pokemon, huh?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yep, I was not aware that existed. Oh my. Things are getting caught up in such a way that I'm just like, oh my god, just stop.
Just.
All right?
Just.
We've got a problem here. This lid is slightly different. Something's not right.
I was gonna...
The pegs for the webcam aren't lining up correctly. Everything else is identical, though.
Hello?
Oh, hello. Oh, right. Yeah, it might be for a hello webcam. Yeah. That could be why. It might be a slightly different revision that has a slightly different camera in it. Okay, I'll just force fit that, I think. So what I'll do is I'm going to break off the pegs and just stick it down, because the pegs are just there to make sure it's perfectly centered. It just makes fitting easier. However, they're not lining up in the right place, so I'm just going to judiciously snap them off.
Oh, dual mics. Interesting.
Dual microphones? Yeah. I wouldn't define that as uncommon these days, to be honest.
No, just a case of there's different revision, possibly one's
oh,
single
right,
mic,
yes.
one's dual mic.
Oh, yeah, I follow you now. Yeah. Right.
I still find it impressive as to how generally awful microphones seem to be in most stuff.
Yes.
Like built-in ones, and I'm just like, I realise this is probably actually very difficult problem, but it's also just kind of a factor. It's just like, I'm amazed we're at this point where it's still such a problem.
Yeah. It's not horrendous it's not horrendous if they put the microphones with the webcam at the top of the screen. The biggest issue is that there are a surprising number of laptops where the microphone is just built into the body of the laptop somewhere, which means it just picks up every single noise that the laptop makes, including fan and keyboard noises and mouse clicks. And it's just like, oh my god, who thought this was a good idea, you know?
What? That's so silly.
Yeah, it's not uncommon. All right. Right, I need an LCD. Where are all the LCDs at? There's one.
There's one there, which has all the cables.
Heck. Thank you.
There's another one here that has all the cables.
That's been roughed up a bit, but it's still good. Right, I will disconnect that. Oh, I didn't need this. Oh, my days. Okay, right. I'm slowing down here. Right, let's bin that. Use this one because it's already attached.
This one is dirty, but not broken. The tape is being abused.
Yes. I think Treb had a bit of a bad time opening these up. However, even though they look a bit rough, they're still perfectly serviceable. Oh, that's the broken one.
I don't need these bits. I need these bits.
That's why I'm not throwing them across the room. Right. Okay, the bit I wanted to know, and I need a bezel. Where does the webcam go? Right. So the webcam lens is going to line up.
Let your co-workers know if you trim your nose hairs or not. Oh.
Right between those bits there. Okay.
I didn't quite follow that advancement in camera placement and design, putting the camera in the keyboard.
The only people I've actually seen doing that are Huawei.
I thought Asus. had some like that.
Maybe. Might be wrong. Yeah. Certainly Huawei popularized it, and it's a neat idea. The reason why people are interested in doing it is you can't make super thin bezels on a laptop screen when there's a webcam there, basically.
Oh no!
I agree, but...
My bezels!
Yeah. And so the only solution to that is to put the webcam at the bottom of the screen, where there's probably going to be a thick bezel anyway, or move it to the keyboard. And, you know, a lot of designers did that and were like, look how clever I am. But now it basically means, like, laptops are already notorious for the looking up at your nose problem. And putting the webcam at the bottom of the screen or in the keyboard compounds that even more. Yeah. So I don't like it as a design concept. I understand what the problem they're trying to solve. I just don't think it solves it very well.
I also don't think it's a problem.
Same. Yeah, same. Right. Okay.
Lenovo did some AIOs with the cameras at the bottom as well.
On an all-in-one. Why would you do that? Yeah.
It's a crotch cam. No, that's terrible.
I'm going to test this before committing to it, because I've made a bit of a... in the past half an hour, I've kind of slowed down a lot, and I'm like, what am I doing again? Where am I? Who am I? So I'm like, I'm going to actually test this, because I think I've managed to assemble a display assembly. So, hopefully...
Right. Lettuce.
Tomato. All right. Let's rough fit this. Plug it in, see if it works, then just do the peel. There we go. That is something that now resembles a display assembly.
Is this a hinge you are keeping? Probably.
Yeah, I think so. I think we have one spare hinge, and that might be the spare hinge.
There is a back. Okay. There is an actual laptop.
That can go in there. Right. I need a bezel. Oh yeah, and someone said, why are webcams so bad versus phones? So with a phone, you have a CPU that has a dedicated image processing unit in it, whereas a normal computer or a laptop doesn't have that image processing unit. So the processing has to be done in camera instead. And webcams just have bad image processing in them. But that's why this camera costs £340, because it has that image processor in it. It has the phone style image processing in camera, which means it can actually do a decent picture and then transmit that over USB.
Whee!
But that's the reason why the Insta360 Link webcams are so obnoxiously expensive. I've no idea what processor they actually use for it, but that's the difference, is that it's actually doing real image processing.
Yeah, it's got a DSP.
What is DSP?
Digital signal processing.
I see.
It's the thingy that does the actual...
Where are the... Oh, there.
Where are the what? Oh, the screws.
They're those, yeah, because I need one of these little shutters. I shouldn't bother putting this on, actually, because I'm going to take this back off again in a sec. I'm just putting in like a couple of clips just so it holds together and I can plug it into the laptop. All right, so I think this is the dead one. So that can go to one side. Put that there. Those are broken hinges. That's another shutter. Okay. Gonna do that. plug that in there. Battery, battery.
This is a battery.
Yeah.
It is disconnected.
You've got to be unlucky to actually blow it up with the battery connected. It is very unfortunate when it happens, but the point is that it can happen. So, I've had arguments with people in the comments before in my old videos where I used to do a lot of in situ display panel swaps, and I used to not bother disconnecting the battery, and I was just like, oh yeah, you'll be fine, it's not a problem. I was wrong, basically. It's, you know, you do have to be unlucky, but the point is, for the sake of just disconnecting the battery, why would you take that risk, you know? Could you pitch the camera toward me a little bit? Because I'm going slightly off shot. So you want to go up a little bit. That's the one. Yeah, that's it. That's all it needs. All right. Hopefully this battery's got a little bit of charge in it.
Crunch.
Right. Power button. Yep, we've got a keyboard backlight.
Da, 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 da.
Oh, that screen looks very broken. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that line there? Yeah, this screen is busted. Is it going to give me a backlight?
Oh, I see.
Yes.
It is broken.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not cracked, but that is very broken. So, yeah. Okay, fine.
Yes, substantially. 3/4 black.
Yeah. Fine. Good thing I didn't commit to that one. All right, that's unfortunate. That means we need another LCD. I'll have a rummage around in a sec. This is quite a common LCD. I might have another one. Whoop. Disconnect.
I'll do you a swap. There you go.
Bath. Thank you. I hate these sticky tabs that hold the display cable in. Like, it's obvious as to why they're there. They're just a nuisance to remove. On laptops, if you connect the LCD harness to the main board while the battery is connected, there's a high chance that you'll short something. I mean, not a high chance, but there is a chance. You have to really butcher the display connector when plugging it in. You have to connect the connector sideways, basically, because it happens if you cross the pins in the connector while you're plugging it in, and if you're crossing those pins, you are putting it in very wonky. But it can happen, and it does happen, and yeah, like I had a laptop in the other day that had a blown backlight that was as a result of this. So, you know, it's real and it does happen, but you have to be doing something terribly wrong for that to occur. But as I mentioned, you know, the risk is completely mitigated by disconnecting the battery. So no matter how unlikely I think it is, the answer is still just disconnect the battery. So yeah, I agree.
It's not like disconnecting the battery takes a lot of time.
Exactly.
But
so
you're then doing a risk reward.
Yeah. So even though I don't think it's very likely to happen, the answer remains the same. Okay, right.
Because obviously, if it was going to take you a couple of hours to mitigate the risk and seconds to not,
yeah, that might be a risk. You might want to roll those dice. It's up to you. You know, certainly there are other risks that I take, which I think are calculated risks. I think, you know, I think the time saved.
Insert bird meme here. It was a calculated risk, but boy, am I bad at math.
However, disconnecting a battery is very easy. Okay, right. Second attempt.
Is it possible for the laptop to be faulty in some fashion to give that screen issue.
Yes, or more likely the display cable. However, in my experience, 99 times out of 100, it's the LCD. So if you ever see issues like that, your first move should always be to change the LCD. Unless, of course, like if the display cable's got a chunk torn out of it, then sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or it's a MacBook from a certain range of years.
Yeah. If there's no visible damage anywhere else, though, then yeah, my money will always be on the LCD. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, that's already come on because the keyboard backlight is on. This is one of those annoying laptops where the fan doesn't spin initially.
Oh, there you go.
Good. Time of day not set. Cool. All right, that's fine.
EDP issues, even no detection, no picture at all. Interesting.
Yeah. Good,
Just
right.
because, in a way, it kind of, obviously if you have a failing desktop GPU, you get certain particular artifacts.
Yes.
So it's just a case of,
Yeah. Right, I'm going to now commit to that then in that case. Right, so we'll
Are you going to clean the edges?
yeah, I'll tidy this up a bit. I'm going to stick it down, then I'll wipe it down just so I can get to the edges, then bezel on. Then we'll put together another display assembly, and I'll just try that LCD a second time just to see if maybe the cable wasn't seated properly or something like that. I can't see a world where that's the case. I think it's dead. But for the sake of not having to order another LCD, I will try it. Whoop. All right, this has got some small screws that need to go in the corners as well. Heck. What's occurring?
I find it annoying that, like, you've got this space here, and they're just like, no, we're not going to make the battery fit the entire width. We're just going to put a foam block in there or something.
I saw, I think it was a Lenovo the other day that was absolutely awful for that. It might have been it might have been one we were looking at on stream, actually. It was an Asus, I think it was, that was absolutely atrocious for this and just had so much empty space in it and this tiny little battery. And it's like, come on, guys. Right. Right, I'm committing. Yeah. Okay. Glass cleaner. There's a bottle. There's a cloth. Whoop. Normally I spray directly onto the screen, but because because the edges are a little bit exposed on this panel, I'm just going to spray onto the cloth and just wipe around the edges just to get smudges off. I'm not too worried about the middle, and I'm not too worried about it being perfect. I just want to get grime off of the edges of the screen, basically. Because that's where you just can't clean once the bezel is on.
Yeah. It slightly surprises me that, like, on the majority of devices, the raw panel is exposed on laptops.
Yeah.
Just because, obviously, everyone kind of believes that they're exceedingly fragile.
Yeah. Yeah, but LCDs are pretty tough, all things considered. Although, again, it depends on what kind of incoming damage there is. But yes. Right, that will do. Let's put the bezel on. I don't think that wire is quite correct, but it's passable. Kind of one of those ones where you just cram it all in there.
Where do you get your LCD screens from? eBay.
Yep, eBay. Yep, I jump on eBay and whoever's got them the cheapest. There's a couple of suppliers that are always at the top of the list for the cheapest ones, and they consistently beg me to buy directly from them. But every time I look at that, they slap VAT and delivery charges on top that make them more expensive than the same thing on eBay. So I say, no thank you, I'm going to go back to eBay and buy the same thing from you on eBay for less money. So, not AliExpress. If I got them from AliExpress, it would just be a longer delivery time. And I guess I could keep screens in stock, but there's just enough variation in types of panel that I don't like keeping them in stock. There are a few panels that are definitely common, but take for example, let me just grab this panel and a random other panel. These are slightly different sizes, but they'll do for the purposes of the demonstration. These are both 30-pin EDP panels. They're both 1080p. This one's a 14-inch, but ignore that. However, notice that on this panel, the control board sticks out from the bottom. So you've got the panel and the control board hangs off from the bottom, whereas on this one for the Dell, the control board is taped to the back of the LCD, so it doesn't stick out. So even though the panels are they're all pin compatible, they're all 30-pin EDP, and like I could plug this screen panel into this laptop and it'll show a picture, even though it's the wrong screen, but this won't fit in the display assembly. So because of these variations for where if the board sticks out at the bottom, whether it has some tabs for screw holes on it, whether it just has a big strut bar on it, whether it's got a support bar on the top and things like that, there's lots of tiny little variations that to me means it's generally not worth trying to keep panels in stock. So I order them on demand. And that means I'm going to want something with a reasonably good delivery time, which means eBay, basically. eBay stuff is within 48 hours.
Yeah.
So
it's almost always in the UK already.
Yeah, exactly.
And 24-hour delivery in the UK is almost a guarantee.
Yeah.
Yeah. But AliExpress does seem to continue to be pushing their choice shipping.
Yeah.
And getting those delivery dates down. And, just seeing more and more stuff appearing with sort of 7-day delivery or 10-day delivery on it, which is a marked improvement over where it started, where it was, kind of a
3
case
to
of
4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah. These clips aren't working with me. This feels like the cable isn't very well positioned. No, that's got to come back off. It's just not, that's not going in properly. I'm trying to click it in, but a lot of the plastic clips just feel like they're missing. Are we having more wobblies or are we good?
No, it was just, I pulled up Chrome because I was going to go to
AliExpress.
AliExpress.
I see, yeah.
And I was just like, YouTube preview? Are you good?
Yeah. Right.
What is this product? Also, what is this product?
AliExpress, please. Please. If you're going to sell this kind of stuff, fine, but for God's sake, don't let it be on the front page. Everyone's going to be asking what it is. Plastic toys, and they ain't toy soldiers. Oh yeah, we were having a conversation about buying a 7800X3D from AliExpress.
Yes.
What's the Amazon price on them before we talk about what AliExpress has?
Yeah, I was just quickly going to see what was happening with the price. And then go, Amazon 7800X3D. Right. Amazon is $3.47.
Okay.
Yeah. $3.47 or a picture of the wrong processor for $3.67.
Oh, I see. Oh, really? Because Oh, that's for Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah. And then...
Yeah, so 350 quid on Amazon.
And then I just move the Chrome window off screen. Let's try that again. There you go. Apparently it has free shipping on it.
Cool. There should be... I was going to say you can log in if you want, if that gets quote-unquote real prices. Yeah, it is in LastPass. Okay, right, that's together. I'll clean it when the laptop is assembled.
I thought for a second your password was 4 characters long. I was like, Graham?
No. Actually, it's 5. Keep out. Yeah. 246 at checkout.
Yeah.
Total shipping free. It feels too good to be true.
But yeah.
Is that choice shipping?
Estimated delivery by 24th of April. So 24 days.
Yeah. So 3 weeks. But still, that's 3 weeks delivery for £100 less than the Amazon list price.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to PayPal that, actually? Literally just put that through. I have a motherboard for this. Just buy it. The money for that is sitting in my PayPal account because of a refund. So...
I require your 6 digits.
Top one.
No, it's not. That's Discord.
Scroll up. Yeah, just like, while we're here, just buy it. Just buy it. That's a fantastic price.
Uno momento, por favor. Using your PayPal balance?
Yes, thank you.
Complete purchase. Thank you for using PayPal.
Oh, I forgot to put the screws in the top corners of the screen. Someone in chat's probably already screaming at me about that. I'll get it in a sec, everyone.
That has been ordered.
Huzzah.
The price did not change.
All right. Good luck, everyone. And by everyone, I mean me, because I just paid for it. So...
Yep. PayPal has just pinged saying £246.24 has been taken.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah. All right, that's the 7800X3D on its way then. So that's going to go into the Lianli. I already have a motherboard lined up for it. I'll need some RAM, but I'll order that when I've got the CPU and I know that I'm actually like ready to commit.
Can print your own on the resin printer. Oh, dear.
I don't think that will be as fast as the real thing.
No. JD is referencing the plastic products from AliExpress. You need to make sure it's body safe. Seriously.
Yeah, like
200%. You need to make sure it's body safe.
I was actually just deliberating whether to be like, I'm not entertaining this conversation, or be like, for the record, just in case you're thinking about this unironically. Yeah.
Body safe silicone and plastic is actually really friggin' hard.
Yes.
Don't ask me how I know.
It's important because there are some people out there that will be like, oh, I can just use XYZ. I'm looking at you, Goop. Do not insert the egg.
Could I interest you in an egg in these trying times? Not one of those ones. Graham gets scammed live on stream.
Well, I mean, it seems too good to be true, but also, like, have you bought a AliExpress CPU before? I can't remember.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Just because my orders got cancelled. Because I found 5600 Gs for like £77 or something. And I was just like, 9 of them. And my orders got cancelled.
Yeah. I'm very sorry, we actually don't have them. And by actually don't have them, I mean we do have them, but we're absolutely not selling them for that price. This was a mistake.
No, they got cancelled by AliExpress because the sellers were removed.
Oh, I see, yes. Well, good luck, everyone, and by everyone I mean me. So
Yeah. Yes.
oh, that's...
AliExpress 7700 still under 150 quid. Are they? Excellent. I was going to say, the Ryzen processors seem to be very cheap at the moment.
Once again, AliExpress homepage. If you want to know what we're talking about, just go to aliexpress.com and...
This was in an incognito tab.
Yeah.
So, like, no search history.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. Oh, an Alice keyboard. Oh, of course it's going to link me to something other than whatever the hell it was that I clicked on.
Yeah, that's just related stuff to what I've been browsing or buying.
Yeah.
Which is just like keyboards and stuff related to building
An LGA 1700
trackers.
socket.
Yeah. Well, I have bought a socket from AliExpress before. So, yeah.
Would you like a Mukaya H61 motherboard for apparently £18?
Do you want another mloon? Because this is how you get a mloon. Right, laptop. Focus, Graham. You're nearly there.
Ah, yes, a Machinist X99PR9 motherboard. Yes.
Okay, right. I'll leave the back cover off of this, and then I'll quickly check the BIOS to see what the asset tag is, and then I know which back cover goes to this laptop.
I was about to do a search and I forgot. Oh, yes.
There we go. Service tag ending in... I remember now. All of these laptops have like the same service tag except for the first two characters. Because I was about to say service tag ending in KTL3, but I think they all end in that. It starts with CH.
3JQK. No. It must be that one.
What camera are we on, by the way? Do you want to switch to face cam because I'm just tidying up at the moment?
On face cam. Hello.
Ah, good. That's the right one.
Would you like to buy a 7700X for more money than you bought a 7800X 3D for? No.
Boy, howdy do I. Turn off. Carefully close lid. Remember, folks, be very careful opening and closing the laptop lid if the back cover is off, because the back cover adds a lot of structural integrity. I'll need to do those corner screws as well.
Whoops.
Do those in a sec.
That's a Ryzen.
I can do that in 60.
Would you like to buy an AMD FX because you accidentally typoed?
Would you like to buy an FX9 for £150?
The Ryzen 5 7500F is £109.
What the hell is a 7500F?
It's the 7500 without the integrated graphics.
Huh.
So like the 2CU integrated graphics have been disabled. And it's £109 for an AM5 processor.
Yeah. What's the what AM5 APUs do we actually have at the moment?
8600G and 8700G.
Are those mobile only?
No.
Why the hell is there an 8000 series AMD chip?
Because they're the APUs.
Oh, I see. AMD, why are you like this? That sounds like a new generation. Because it's a new 1000 series. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. All right.
Would you like it to have a 38-meter socket AM5?
Oh.
Without fan, game cache hot. Yes, without a fan, it will game quite hot.
I misread it at first without cache. I'm just like, it just has 2 megabytes of cache because the L3 cache is disabled or something.
Yeah.
What does it actually got? What is that? So
6-core, 12-thread, 65-watt.
That's not bad. That doesn't sound terrible. Yeah, that's yeah. So that's. Have we got a 70? What's the 7600? That's got to be 6-core 12-thread, right? Like, is that a cheap 7600? That's the question I'm asking. It's probably down some cash.
I don't think so.
Because that's the question. Is like, if you were buying that, what is that competing against? And what's the price difference? Why should I buy? Can I build a cheap gaming PC with that, or should I just buy a 7600? That's kind of the interest point that I'm at here.
Okay.
Right.
Also, I think the other thing that's ever so slightly annoying is the 7500F is like technically kind of slightly OEM only, kind of, but really isn't.
Yeah. Not that makes any difference to a builder who's just bought a chip.
Yeah, but it just means that like there aren't really many listings for it, so like the specs are slightly hard to find.
Yeah.
And I was just like, please give me the specifications. That all looks reasonably normal. 32 megs of L3. I think that's
32 megs. That's not terrible. Like, it's not great, but that sounds about right for a...
Yeah, it's the same as the 7600, 7600X.
So what's the 7600 got then? Just more clock?
It has
3.8 to 5.1.
higher clock.
Yeah, 3.8 to 5.1, and the 7500 is 3.7 to 5. Well, it's only 100 megahertz off.
Yeah.
So how much is a 7600 flat?
No idea. Amazon says
190 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, again, if you don't mind buying from AliExpress, that is what is basically a 7600 for like £80 less.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's actually a cracking buy if you're trying to build cheap gaming rigs. It doesn't have integrated graphics, but if you're building it into a gaming rig, you're putting in a GPU anyway, so who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. Because the problem is, most of the time, these cheaper budget SKUs, they're missing half the cache or something like that.
Yeah, on the APU side, yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the issue with the APU, but obviously they have to find die space somewhere.
Yeah. Interesting.
Not very upgradable. What?
I mean, it's AM5.
Oh, no, sorry. The previous message was the AMD 4700S 8-core processor desktop kit.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
interesting.
That's AM4 though. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And like AM4 is upgradable because the person could just find a 5800X3D later on down the line. But how long is that going to be available for? Is the question there.
Is this basically the Xbox? I think this is basically the motherboard that's an Xbox.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's that weird dev kit thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Which is kind of basically an Xbox and also has a really weird list of graphics cards it works with.
Yeah.
It only works with the RX 5500 through 59. Sorry, 550. 550.
Weird.
The RX 550 and the RX 590, and the GeForce GT 1030 to the GeForce GTX 1060.
Weird.
And it's like, okay.
It must be missing certain hardware interfaces that the Xbox doesn't need. And however, those graphics cards also just happen to not require that either, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's got a very small number of PCI Express lanes, and those particular graphics cards will still hit peak performance on those lanes or something. Yeah.
Xbox.
Set African Xbox.
Without me.
Right. It's taken me about an hour, but I have fixed this laptop.
Excellent.
Now I can wipe this screen down properly.
South Africa.
That's the only way I can do a South African accent, is just say South Africa. Joburg.
Denny Atcha.
No offense, no offense. No offense, South Africa, and by South Africa I mean JD. But
It's fine.
You are South Africa as far as we are concerned.
It is only JD.
He's the only South African, yeah.
He's the only one silly enough to be here and get insulted. No, all the offence. I'm not entirely certain it's possible.
Oh, I'm trying to think of something else to say, because I'm just like, we really should change the subject, because the only other direction this conversation can go into is offensive humour. So just changing the subject now, you know.
It's okay, we could start talking Dutch.
Are those Haribo sweets being eaten, or are they just for decoration?
Yes.
Yeah, they are getting eaten now. Yeah, Caradog takes one now and then, and you know, now occasionally people who are here will be like, "Ooh, Haribo," and I'm like, "Take one." I don't actually like Haribo, so I don't eat them. But yeah, they're slowly disappearing. I'm not much of a sweets fan in general. I'll eat chocolate, but like sweets and candy, so to speak, I'm not into. What's that 7645 there? Because that's a different.
Where? Oh, here.
Yeah,
Dragon
what
Range.
the hell is FL1? Socket FL1.
Laptop.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, this is laptop.
Yeah, because like weirdly that one's 5 nanometers, which is different to the rest of them.
Yeah, it's Dragon Range.
What is Dragon Range?
Oh, I started saying that. I was just like, oh yes, South African.
Dragon Range.
Like,
Stop. What is Dragon Range?
it's a mobile processor.
I see.
It's a mobile processor.
Okay.
It's a series of mobile processors.
I just don't understand why it has its own manufacturing process.
What do you mean?
With 5 nanometers instead of 4.
Oh, what is back now?
Backspace?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I mean, because Raphael is also 5.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't spot
well.
that. Yeah. Ignore me. Yeah, I saw just a list of 4s all the way down,
Yeah.
and then 5, and I'm like, why is that one different? But yeah, they do actually.
I wonder.
Have a 5
I can't. I think Dragon Range is like the desktop replacement socket.
Yeah.
So it's a case of it's understandable that the Dragon Range part would be on a similar node to the desktop parts.
All right. That laptop is fixed. Okay.
Oh no, Mike Jones says, I spent like $1,000 on AliExpress since I started spraying a year ago. Like, yes.
AliExpress is a dangerous web. There's just so much stuff there that you're like, ooh, that looks cool.
What's the other one?
Banggood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Banggood. I'd forgotten they existed until very recently, when I got an email or something, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you exist."
Would you like a sponsor spot?
Yeah. All of the little electronics DIY kits, I used to get those from Banggood, but during COVID and the shipping crisis, there was just nothing good available anymore. No one was selling anything because shipping was just wasn't there. So people stopped bothering to stock anything.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just forgot they existed. Whereas now I'm just like, oh, I should have a wander around Banggood at some point.
It's where I got my LiPo charger from.
Yeah. Okay, right. Have I got enough bits left here to build another laptop? There's a base, a buttery biscuit base.
Hard base, soft base.
Right, that is broken, but has Wi-Fi antennas and a webcam. That webcam is broken, so we're going to use stuff from there. That doesn't have a webcam, so we're done with that. and one of those screens pretty sure is busted, so I'm going to grab a display cable and plug that into the laptop and confirm that the screen is busted. However, I'll put together a display assembly first, because then I've done that and all I need to do is get a good screen. So
why do you have another display assembly here?
Because this one is broken, so I will still need
that.
I need to transplant the stuff from here into there. So yeah.
Oh, I see.
So yes.
I misunderstood what you said, and I thought you said I'm going to build this display assembly.
Yes, that's certainly what it looked like I was implying. My brain is moving at about 5 miles per hour at the moment, so I'm just
such speed.
Yeah. But it's not his. He must be using the Chaos Emeralds to warp.
Anyway, when you configured the PCs, what website did you use to compare the components? Some kind of part picker?
Nope.
I mean, kind of, slightly. Like, there is a website which is PC Part Picker that you can go through and assemble the parts together, and it totals the price and so on and gives you a parts list.
So I thought we were talking about these laptops, but no. If you're
these laptops, no, nothing like that with that. But yeah.
When I was figuring out parts for repairing these laptops, I was just making a list on Google Sheets. But yeah, PC Part Picker, and there's a UK version, a US version, probably multiple other versions as well.
There's loads of them.
Yeah. So go to PC Part Picker in your locale, and that is a very, very good website for speccing up a computer, because it helps you find parts that are compatible, and it will tell you where you can buy them at the best price. You don't have to buy your parts through there, but if nothing else, it's really good for just prototyping a list, because it shows you what you need, and you can be like, CPU, okay, select, here's a list of CPUs. RAM, select, here's a list of RAM compatible with your CPU, and so on. And because it has a compatibility checker, it's pretty comprehensive.
The compatibility checker is reasonably good. You just there are some
oddities with it, but yeah, it's certainly a good starting point. Now and then it will have some false positives. Like, for example, if you pick a I don't think it does this, but as an example, you might pick a micro ATX motherboard and an ATX chassis, and it will be like, oh, you've got a micro ATX motherboard but a ATX chassis. These are not the same. And it's like, well, no, a micro board will fit in an ATX chassis just fine. It'll just look a bit weird, you know. That's not a compatibility issue. But again, broadly speaking, if the compatibility checker says you're good, then you're good. Its power requirement checker is also fairly sane as well. You know, when it says here's an estimate for how many watts this system will use, that is normally that's a pretty good barometer as well. In that, unlike a lot of places, it doesn't say you need a 1200 watt power supply for your 4070. I need Wi-Fi antennas.
Wi-Fi? But look at them, there's two. Such luxury.
It does go along the bottom. That's what I did wrong on the last one.
Dual antennas on a laptop?
I know.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the compatibility issues that PC Part Picker often lists is saying like the motherboards aren't compatible with CPUs because of like BIOS updates and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But like I've seen it where it said like, you know, X570 is not compatible with Ryzen 5000 series because of BIOS updates, and I'm like, but the X570 boards are all of them, every one of them. That's why it exists. Okay. Or like Z790 not being compatible with 13th gen. It's just like, what? Because BIOS, and it's just like, okay.
These pegs don't line up again. I think these top lids were designed for a like, can you switch to bench cam a sec?
Bench.
And can you like punch in like a pretty heavily? Yeah, that'll do. So at the top here, if you look at the gap, like these corner points around here, you can see there is a space where the webcam fits. However, the webcams I have are very narrow. These top lids are clearly designed for a much wider webcam, which is probably for the Windows Hello version of the webcam. And the Windows Hello one will have like a dual infrared strobe lights, and a distance sensor or some kind of distance measurement thing in order to do facial scanning, basically. And that's why the two pegs here and here aren't lining up with this one, because it's designed for a different shaped webcam. However, the back of it is flat, so as long as I make sure that I position it left and right correctly, I can still use this. So I'm just chopping off the pegs here, and this is
really?
fine.
Dell have a version of True Tone.
Oh, does he do True Tone as well? Yeah.
How
I don't know.
Horrifying. True Tone is awful.
It's not sticking very well, but by the time I've put everything else in place and pressed it all down, it ain't going to fall out.
What?
Actually, I'm going to put a little bit of Tessa tape behind that. Anyway, but yes.
Tessa and their tape.
I need to get some more of this because I'm going through it. I've got quite a lot left on the reel, but I will run out at some point, and I want to make sure that I buy actual like Tessa brand tape because this stuff has been really good.
Is it just double-sided?
It is just double-sided tape.
I see.
But the
Have you used like 3M branded stuff as well to see if that's any good?
Not in a hot minute.
Yeah.
Most of the time when you see 3M stuff, you see like VHB or something like that, which is very thick padded stuff. But the Tessa stuff is actual quote-unquote tissue thin, and is also extremely powerful. I've been using this to stick on a lot of iMac screens and not had any issues at all. So much so that I don't actually bother buying the proper pre-cut strips for iMacs anymore. I just use Tessa tape because it just works.
eBay.
Yeah, this original reel was sent in with one of the care packages, which is where I got it from. But yeah, all right. I need some.
Oh, there we go.
There's a left hinge and a right hinge.
That's not bad.
Oh yeah,
do you
that
want
looks
the
good.
3mm by?
Let's see. By 25 meters, 3mm. That no, I think that's
Maybe 5.
yeah, 5mm, maybe 8. Might be 8mm. What other options have you got?
1mm.
I see. 1mm wide. That can't be right.
4mm wide. 2mm.
I assume that these millimeter
5.
lengths are referring to the width of the tape because I can't think what else it's referring to. It can't be the thickness.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a look and see.
Or it could. There we go.
What? This Tessa tape is not made by Apple. Well, no.
Well, yeah, Tessa is become synonymous with double-sided tape in a lot of instances. So there is a lot of double-sided tape that is just known as Tessa tape, when actually it's just like, no, Tessa is a brand. So when you say Tessa tape, you could be talking about any type of double-sided tape made by Tessa.
I like the fact they give you the adhesion values for like ABS.
Oh, that's
glass, PMMA, steel.
That's kind of interesting.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. Adhesion to steel. After 14 days, you've got to apply it and leave it for 2 weeks.
Yep.
Bloody hell. Although that's interesting because, of course, that kind of confirms that, like, initially it will only be this strong, but assuming that your product is going to sit in a warehouse for 2 weeks, the strength will actually increase if left to sit.
Right. So, 5. Let's see if that's a thing that exists. Kind of. Yeah. There you go. You can get this looking stuff in 8mm wide for £8.
That looks like what I've got, and yeah, you get a decent amount of it. So yeah,
you can go all the way up to 12mm wide, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I'd pay £8 for another. This has been brilliant. This stuff, I'd pay £8 for another roll of this. No questions asked. So yeah, I'm not running low, so I don't need to buy it now. But it's good to know that it is available on eBay UK, and I don't have to hunt it down anywhere. It is widely available. I've forgotten to put the Wi-Fi antennas on this. Let's do that now before I forget.
Yeah, 8mm.
Right into
The danger zone?
That's a song by Tool, you uncultured swine.
Right into?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Tool, man. Yeah. I think they're high when they write any of their songs.
Hi, we're Tool. Hi, Tool, I'm Tool too.
Ba, 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 ba. That looks vaguely correct.
I like this channel. You guys do all the shopping, and I feel like I've bought something. Ah, yes, this has 64,664 points of sticky to hamsters. That's exactly what I need.
Yeah. Well, like, it's kind of interesting to look at the prices of stuff and look at where stuff is available, because people often ask me in the comments on YouTube videos, they say, where did you get the parts from? And like a lot of the time in videos, like I try to make a point when I say, when I'm doing a video and I say, right, I've got a new LCD here, I pretty much, for a very long time, I've always said, I've got a new LCD here, which I bought on eBay. But I think also the people who are commenting also want just a direct link. And I'm like, I'm not doing that much homework for you guys. This is an idiot test. If you're unable to look at the part number that you're holding in your hand and type that part number into eBay, then I have concerns about your intelligent ability to fix a computer. This is a test, you know. It's kind of like the unspoken test of where to find schematics. If you're not intelligent enough to go to Google and type in 820-00165 schematic, I'm not sure how you expect to be able to fix a motherboard. However, when we're doing the podcast, it's kind of fun to look at this stuff and show to people, look, we can look for this, and this is the kind of stuff that's available. That's interesting. These are the tools that we're using, and hey, look, you can find this on eBay UK, you know. I can trust you guys to finish the rest of it off, you know.
You can sort yourselves out.
Yeah. And when I say idiot test, it's a case of like, it's not that I'm deliberately testing people, but it's just like, no, I will not do your homework for you, you know. Right. Mainly because also when some people ask very obvious questions that you know are literally a Google search away, it automatically tells me that they have not even tried to Google search it. And like, that's kind of one of those like, the least you could do before you use my time is to at least Google search it first. If you've looked and you've been unable to find, then you can say, I tried Google searching and I could not find it. Can you help me out with what term to search for? Then I think that's valid. You know, like, I'm not an asshole about this. However, please at least demonstrate to me that you have at least tried. Because a lot of the time, because I know that this is literally a Google search away and it's the top hit on Google, if you're asking the question, it means you didn't Google it, because I already know that it's the top hit on Google. Okay, right, I'm going to see if this LCD works. Yeah. I'm being snarky though, so.
What would I do in the Discord? What now? What am I being accused of, JD?
Being in the IT repair field, eBay is the best for laptop parts. Wouldn't trust other sources. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of the time, I feel kind of bad. Like, it always feels like you should be using more legitimate suppliers for places. Like, you should have, like...
What's illegitimate about eBay?
I don't know. There's always a slight guilt that buying from eBay is sketchy and you're getting weed off the back of a lorry parts. But, like, that's what you're getting if you buy from anywhere anyway. It's not like Dell are willingly selling these parts, you know. So, yeah, I don't know. For some reason or other, I always feel a slight guilt about it, and I don't know why. But it's just the best place to go. I've looked around. Oh, that looks broken in the corner. This is the screen that I think is broken. And, yeah, that's broken.
You'll need another one.
That's very broken, yeah. So, yeah, we need and that one was cracked across the middle. So, yes, we need another screen. All right. Could you hit up eBay for me, please?
eBay, get in here. Boff. My eBay.
I need an NE156 FHM.
Oh, I was seeing if it was going to be like your last 3 items ordered.
No, the other one was also for the other Latitude model, so it might be different.
Yeah, so, but I was literally just like, oh, is it like the 3rd item you've ordered?
Yeah.
What do you require?
Right, NE156 FHM-N4X.
Da, 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 da.
35 quid.
Why is that one come up at being a 14-inch?
Because they're wrong. Oh, also, yeah, that's an N4V. Oh, and also it's just a completely different model as well.
NE156.
Don't even know why that's in the results.
NT156. NE156 FHNX2? No?
Yeah. I'd take the top hit because it's it's an exact model match, and it also says it's IPS FHD.
No, it's not. Because that's dash N.
Oh, well spotted. Yeah. Well, let's have a look. Okay, let's have a look at this. Hang on a minute. Do you want to go to desktop capture, and we'll just show people this process? Not visible.
Window capture. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah. Okay, so we've just searched for this, and we've got an NE156 FHM, but it's a -NS0 instead of a -N4X. So the question is this one close enough? So the way we can find this out is there's a pretty good website called Panel Look, which gives you the really deep specs on panels. So can you open a new tab and search for NE156 FHM, NE156 FHM-N4X, and look for Panel Look. There you go. Loading. And so, all right. And so here we've got all of the specs of it, and it will show you the variations. So,
sorry, what?
What have you spotted?
The color depth is only 45% of NTSC. Excuse me?
Probably it's a laptop panel.
Excuse me?
Yeah. And also, this panel costs £35 on eBay, you know.
Contrast ratio of 800:1. Oh dear. I see.
Try not to think about... It's IPS, though. It's perfect. You know. Anyway. Right, so now in another tab, search for NE156 FHM, whatever that one on eBay was. So
this.
Yeah. So basically, we want to bring up the specs of that one, and we want to figure out what the differences are. So... Like I said, remember how I was talking about how the difference might be where the circuit board is located?
The circuit board's off the back.
There we go. So this one is no good because the circuit board is hanging off the back. So yeah, so it does matter in that case. This is why you've got to watch out. You need a perfect model match. This is exactly the trap that I was trying to warn about earlier on in the stream. So yeah, sometimes the difference will be negligible. Sometimes the difference will be a mounting strip that you could just remove, or you could take, or that is missing, and you could take off the old one and put on the new one. However, in this instance, the actual control board is in a completely different location, which means it's no good. You can't necessarily rely on the picture on eBay because the pictures are all generic. So while the picture is, it's a good start, but we can't rely on it. All right, so that looks, is that an exact match? Is that what we wanted? NE156 FHM? Yeah.
This is 4X.
N4X? Yeah.
Is that what you wanted?
N4X is what we want.
Sorry. I thought N4X was the wrong one, but
no.
Close.
Yeah, so that's an exact match. It's 35.39. Yeah, that's fine. That's the one that I would buy. I would have a quick check. I'd have a quick check to see if anyone else has got a better price, but £35 is the going rate for an LCD like this.
Notebook spares, which kind of, yeah.
Yeah, that's
37,
fine. Same.
35, 36, 35, 36, 35, 74?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, because it actually says Innolux in the name. So maybe.
Yeah. That Innolux one might be compatible and might be a better display, but this is a BOE and we're buying another BOE.
39, no, 20 quid for an NE one for that one. Oh, that says pre-owned.
It's a used one.
So if you wanted to, I guess you could save a tenner.
That's it. If it were my own laptop, I'd probably roll the dice on the used one.
Oh, interesting. That one's in a ThinkPad.
Yeah. So that's the thing. These panels are universal. They are not Dell specific, but like I said, because of lots
no thanks.
Oh yeah, that's no bueno. Yeah, that's broken. Yeah. However, because of how many tiny little variations there are, this is why I don't stock panels. I take the panel out of the laptop and I search by the model number and I get an exact match. So yeah, cool. Yep, I'll have one of those, please. All right, that one's broken.
Using your PayPal?
Yep, PayPal, please.
Papers, please.
Yeah. You have to click continue because PayPal hate you. It's so annoying that you cannot press enter on that two-factor prompt. You have to click the OK button.
Oh, are you happy with this?
Yes, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah.
And do not worry, I changed it beforehand.
Yes, I was. I wasn't 100% sure, but I was like, I won't draw attention to it just in case. Even though theoretically, catching a glimpse of all of my two-factor codes shouldn't matter because they're only good for 60 seconds. But anyway. All right, now I'm going to backread the chat and have someone tell me that I'm wrong.
Kara spends Neff's money. If only Neff had any money to spend.
It's true. But you got to spend money to make money, baby.
I just had a Dell screen delivered by LCD Kings. They are actually ACCU parts.
I think half of the sellers on eBay are all the same people. I think there's only actually 2 or 3 of them, and they are just selling under about 10 different accounts. It doesn't really make a difference to me as long as the right panel shows up. I don't really care who it comes from. There are a couple of I need to start making a list because, well, no, there's not even any point in that. If I get a bad panel, part of me is tempted to make a note of the seller and be like, okay, I got a bad panel from these people. Let's not buy from them again. But you buy enough of them and you're going to get a bad one now and then.
It's also
that's not their fault.
It's also a case of you just kind of go, eBay, dead on arrival. Refund,
that's it.
Please.
I'm going to get my money back anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah.
Yeah. There'll be some reason for it, but yes.
Okay. Right. So
I guess we're going to be slightly shorter today.
Well, I've got another thing that I'm going to have a quick look at. What's the timer on? 2:20. Yeah, that's fine. I've got one more laptop I'm going to quickly do, just simply because it's not very exciting. I've got another. There's a DC cable here that goes in a HP, so I'm going to quickly put that in because then I can put that HP onto the done shelf.
What's the average pizzle off for a new panel? What?
The average price of a new panel, I think that was supposed to be.
The average price.
The pizzle for shizzle, my nizzle.
New panel Percentage?
LCD panels usually cost about 35 quid. Sometimes if it's a small laptop, like
loss?
Oh, pixel loss. Dead pixel rate? Use your words, Sleepwalker, I believe in you. I don't know what the warranty is, however, broadly speaking, I very rarely see dead pixels at all. I can't remember the last time I saw dead pixels on any new screen. So yeah, I don't know what the actual warranty is, but like I said, I can't remember the last time I actually saw a dead pixel on a new screen. So,
fourth time lucky?
The rate of dead pizzle rate, yeah. I'm sorry, we don't mean to laugh. This is just really, really funny.
But yeah, but basically my acceptable rate is 0. If it turns up with any dead pixels, it immediately goes straight back and says it is not as advertised.
Yes.
Because you advertised this as a panel with this number of pixels in, it doesn't have that number of pixels in.
Yeah.
Give me one with the correct number of pixels.
That's it. I think a lot of sellers will often have a warrant, an officially specified this. They'll say, oh, up to 6 dead pixels or something like that. But I'm still going to hit the no thanks and return it because eBay will side with the buyer every time.
Yeah.
eBay is heavily buyer biased. The seller will lose 99 times out of 100.
Well, it's also just the fact of the law says.
Oh, does it? Yeah. So.
Well, it is not as described. Unless you described it as is sold with dead pixels, it is not as described.
I suppose, yeah.
Because you have described it as a working screen.
Yeah.
This part of it does not work.
Yeah. Put the AZERTY keyboard down. We got there, we did it. Pixel.
Before they post you the 5 extra pixels.
Imagine if they just sent you the corner cut off of another screen saying, here's the rest of them, asshole. Fuck you, That would be extremely funny. Let's see, where did I put my display assembly that I was building up? Is it this one I put on the floor? No, that one's broken. I'm missing a display assembly that I was working on. There it is.
My marbles. Where are my marbles?
I'm just going to put the display cable on.
My kaleidoscope.
Cool. All right. So I'm just going to put the display cable into this and then just tidy pile this laptop because this one's now waiting for an LCD. But once that's done, we'll be...
Can I have a Haribo for spelling it right? You know what? If you come and get it...
Yeah. Unironically.
New phone, the Google Pizzle.
Hang on a moment.
I see dead pixels.
What the hell is going on here?
Is it the wrong one?
I'm wondering. I wonder if there was a... I'm suddenly thinking, was there a hello camera mixed into these somewhere? No, I've looked at all 3 of them. They were all the same. One of them had a broken connector, just where it got torn off when the display cable was removed. Not a big deal, because one of them's getting thrown out anyway. Oh, I understand what's happened. This plug has the connector on it that's torn off of the other webcam.
Oh.
So yeah, that's why it doesn't fit. So now it goes in. Yeah.
Why would you go in? Ah, because you're not a connector.
You have the morbid, grotesque remains of your brother still attached to you.
Jesus.
I don't know where that came from. Hi, welcome to the show, everyone. Right, okay.
On that note, goodbye.
Netasem leave dot emoji. Right, that display cable is on. I'm going to loose fit this bezel.
All right, bye, Si.
Ah.
Have fun at home without your heating.
I wouldn't know what that's like. All right. Okay.
No.
Rough fit. That's done. That's, whoops. Ow. That was my knee on the cable tidy. I'm going to put this to one side and find a HP laptop over here. That
Who
is
put this rubbish on this floor?
Silence. Oh. Right. HP gaming laptop. Ah.
What HP games are there?
It's a Pavilion gaming laptop. Right, this one was liquid damaged, and the customer was exceedingly lucky. It's there was a little bit of corrosion around like this area and a little bit there, but it had shorted out. Switch to the bench cam a sec. It had shorted out the DC cable. So yeah, when I while I was looking at this one, there isn't going to be a video on this one because I couldn't be asked. But it had a short on the DC in the DC in connector on the motherboard, and I thought it was going to be like the TVS diode or something like that. But then when I looked a bit closer, here's the DC in jack, and you can actually see where there's been a short circuit event there, and it's actually fizzled, and there's been magic smoke coming out the back of that. So there's a short circuit in that DC jack. So it just needs a new DC jack. I manually charged the battery, and it posted. So yeah, new DC jack. A little bit of corrosion cleaned up off of this I/O board, and she's good.
Damn it, JD.
Is that a dedicated HP SSD? Yeah, I think it is actually. I hadn't really thought about it, but let's have a quick look, just because it'd be interesting to see what they've actually put in there. It's got an M.2 in it as well, so I don't know what the heck this actually is. It's in fact now. I assumed that because it's plastic, that would be an SSD, and I didn't think anything of it. But now I'm like, wait, this has got an M.2 drive in it as well. Why would they put two SSDs in here?
Extra storage.
I mean, maybe, yeah. Maybe it just has
For
two.
your 150 gig Warzone updates.
Yeah, maybe it's got a 120 gig M.2, and yeah, I don't know. I see. Huh. It's a blanking plate.
100% real fake plastic.
Yeah. That was actually really unexpected. I'm just... I see. Well, I've not seen a blanking plate like that. Okay then. Probably about as good as an HP SSD would be anyway, but, you know. All right.
About as fast as their Wi-Fi.
Pavilion. That being the case, I'm kind of curious as to what SSD this has in it. But it's probably just got a 500 gig or something like that. I'm going to have a quick nose. Our survey says, place your bets, drum roll. It's stuck to the heat spreader. It's a Kioxia, and it's a 512. So yeah, Kioxia 512, it's fine.
Imagine spending $200 on that.
Yeah, I don't know what spec this laptop is. We'll find out in a sec, actually. Don't know. It's always just kind of interesting just to see what's out there, because, like, you don't, you know.
Thank you, Sleepwalker. I have enjoyed this mad spelling English.
Okay, right. I need to lift up that hinge. I think. I'm going to lift up this hinge.
I'm going to lift up your hinge.
Oh. That goes in there at a really odd angle.
$200 on a Kioxia makes you I mean, unless it's like a, enterprise drive. And then, I guess at the same time, it'd be like, only $200 for an enterprise drive. I'll take 7.
Oh, is that? Yeah, that pin is sticking out.
Has it got the wrong connector? Oh no.
No, just another high quality product.
High quality HP replacement parts.
That's not fitting in there very well. I think this connector has taken a little bit of heat damage because I was soldering to the back of it. I was trying to jump power directly into this laptop to get it to start, and I've partially damaged the connector, I think. So it just needs a little bit of GBH to plug something into it.
Yes, Optane should have survived.
There we go.
Just don't say that around Floor Lamp. He will find you.
And he will defrag you.
He will find you, and he will make you recover data from the 16GB Optane partition of the hard drive.
Or that Chinese piece of tat he's been working on all week.
I'm recovering data at 16 kilobytes a second.
But you are recovering data. Which means you're obligated to keep going.
Which is more than anyone else.
All right, that looks good. Screws back in.
The Terminator of PCs. He terminates PCs.
So, in Terminator, there's the famous line of, "I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle." What would the line be for a PC technician?
I need your password, your BitLocker, and your Microsoft login.
Yeah? That'd scan, yeah.
Oh no! I was about to say.
Okay, right, that's all
JD,
in.
you have more local threats.
Put this... let's see if this laptop turns on, everyone.
Look, it's a cleaver.
I mean, no, but...
I mean, it literally is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Serious question.
Like.
Surely HP roll their own.
Oh, that's how you spell
Meat
that.
cleaver.
Would you like to buy a meat cleaver gaming laptop? Oh.
Right, give me BIOS setup. So for those of you playing along at home, this is a HP Pavilion 16-A, 10th generation i5.
Oh, it's a 10th gen. That's why it doesn't match up with these ones.
No idea what video card it has in it yet, though. Configuration. No, yeah. I don't know why I thought that would tell me the graphics card. I mean, I'm sure Clevo have made something that looks like this, but I find it hard to believe that HP don't roll their own.
I don't know, but there's one that's like functionally identical.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to plug in the charger for this because we need to make sure that it doesn't explode when I plug in the charger.
Good luck, Sleepwalker. May it be swiftly and easily resolved.
Can't take it off anymore. I'm off to A&E. Oh no.
May your back be fixed.
I mean, I'm not doing much better at the moment because I just said good luck, brew, instead of bro. Good luck, Brewski. All right.
I need your zip ties, your Allen key, and all of your thermal paste.
Where the hell is it? It is on that side, of course. I turned it over. All right. Right, the laptop did not explode when I plugged in the power. However, because it's a HP BIOS, it doesn't tell me jack.
Also, the light isn't on?
Yeah, it's just gone to orange.
Oh.
Yep.
That looked like off. Very well.
Yep, so we have an orange light. Let's see, will this boot to Windows? It should do.
Face cam.
Thanks. Yeah, we got a Windows 11 loaded. Wow, that came up quick. That was in hibernate. And we are on charge.
Boom.
So yeah. I'm surprised the battery was critically low. I put some charge into it. Maybe I didn't put in as much as I thought. I must have put like just 10% in there, like just enough to turn on the laptop and confirm that it worked. But yeah. Good. All right, this laptop is now functional. So I'm going to shut this down and put the back lid on it. I'm going to clean it and put it on the done shelf.
Congratulations. You did it.
Yeah. This laptop was... it's a shame I didn't do a video on this one, actually, because it was... Sometimes I like making videos of the easy ones as proof to people that the easy ones are out there. You don't have to be a board repair technician to approach liquid damage. If you know, like, if you learn basic stabbing, so just get a multimeter and just know...
Head to Joburg.
Yeah. Oh no. If you get a multimeter and you know, even if you're not going to do proper board diagnostics, just you know where to find the DC in jack, where to find the main power rail, and just check those two. That just tells you what you're up against. And after that, just some basic toothbrush cleaning and just recognizing that you have a shorted DC in jack, you can fix a laptop without knowing anything about board repair. So there's got to be some repair technicians out there that are looking at the board repairers going, I know I need to know this, but I don't have it. I don't have the energy to learn this. There is some really basic stuff that you can learn that will just get you past, that will just help you spot the easy ones that you might be missing out on.
How big is the battery?
And that also builds confidence for doing the hard ones. 52 watt hours.
Oh my god.
Yeah, not great, but...
Hello, I would like my battery to last 17 minutes.
Yeah. That's the problem, though. That's not great, but also, if you look at this, how big could they make the battery, and would that actually make a meaningful difference, you know?
I mean, they could double it. They could go up to 99.9 watt hours.
Where? I mean, I guess they could ditch the 2.5 inch bay.
They could also go thicker and also improve the cooling at the same time.
Yeah, this one's not a thin laptop and it's got modest cooling on it.
Also, they could make the bottom square and then use this space here.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, all right, yeah. Anyway. Interview with the stabber.
Oddly, laptops are very heavy because of the extra CPU cores. Crunch, crunch, crunch.
Oh, that's not going on. Nope. That was the grit your teeth as you just press it a bit harder. And no.
You will work.
There we go. There we go. That's for the Dells. Oh.
I worked out why my laptop was singing the other day.
Your laptop was singing?
Yeah. It's a Dell.
Can I get booze in the chat, please? Seriously, can we get some booze in chat? Because I actually approached that seriously. I thought you were about to tell me an interesting anecdote about a funny noise your laptop was making. I'm actually angry about that. I'm not laughing at the joke. I'm laughing at the fact that we're laughing together and we're good friends. But yeah.
Rolling in the depth.
Terrible. Abysmal. Unacceptable. Wing. You alright?
Oh, it's a D for DisplayPort.
Yes, that is the DisplayPort logo.
I was trying to discern what it was around your fingers, and I was just like, what?
The D is silent. Right, I'm going to clean this.
DisplayPort? The D is silent. DisplayPort?
I was making a Django joke.
I know.
See, that also works, which is also... That's really, really, really funny if you know that whole scene. I didn't set that up, and that was brilliant. Right. I'm tired. This is really basic tier banter we've got going here. And I'm like, can we finish the show now? So
Okay, good night.
No. I had to actually stop you then just because I believe you would do it. Right, this is done. Okay, we need more cider. No, well, how much have I got left actually? I'm nearly done. I'm going to get through this.
I'm going to make it through.
I'm in that sort of just slow and happy place at the moment, which is like, it's taking me way too long. Like, if I was actually focused at work, I'd have done all of this that I've done today in under an hour instead of 3 hours, 3 hours. But, however, I'm just kind of just slow and just chugging along. But, we're there. I don't think I've got anything else lined up for today. I'm sure I can go and find some stuff, but I think we've burnt enough time. So, have we got anything else going on? Was there anything in the news that we wanted to talk about?
More lies from Intel about Battle Mage coming soon.
Lies, you say?
Well, yeah, because...
They've said it's... I knew that they said it's coming soon again, and I know that's...
Because they said Alchemist was coming soon February last year, and it didn't launch... Sorry, 2 years ago, and it didn't launch until like the September.
Although, I think what's interesting about that is that they did say it's still coming. It hasn't been cancelled,
Yeah, just everyone bar 3 people has been fired.
Oh. What's the deal with that? I hadn't heard that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was 2 years ago.
Oh, I see.
They have not rehired for any of the positions that people were fired from.
Oh, I see.
They have no staff.
Oh.
So how it's coming, we're not certain.
Yeah. Oh, that's a bit weird, yeah.
They have a driver team.
I mean, maybe at the point when they'd fired everyone, because it was no secret that by the time Alchemist was actually released, Battle Mage was already designed. Like, they were a generation ahead, right? That's the way it works. And then it takes you X many years to get that design to manufacturing. So maybe they felt like they already had the designs and they're just trying to get it to market. So they didn't need all of those people they fired. But also, just, again, it's like, well, if it was that simple, then where is it?
What about the third generation then?
I don't think we're going to get a third gen.
Well, yeah, no, but exactly, that's my point.
Yeah.
What's the point in releasing a second gen if you're not going to release a third gen?
If you're going to cancel, you may as well stop now.
Yeah, because the second gen isn't going to be good enough for anyone to care about it.
Yeah, maybe.
Especially if they already know it's an unsupported product before it even reaches market.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we will see. And I look forward to being wrong.
Yeah.
But also, it's a case of it's not our responsibility to save Intel.
No. Yes, agreed. Yeah, and that's kind of a pity, really, because I was at a VR chat meet last night, and we were talking about graphics cards, and because and I was talking about I was saying to I was explaining to people why, you know, dual graphics and a dedicated encoder card doesn't really make sense in most applications and things like that. And someone said, oh, but you know, the Intel graphics card is really good at encoding, and I said, yeah, credit where it's due. The Intel Arc A770 is a monster video encoder. It punches well above its price bracket for video encoding, you know. And that is valid. If you're doing a lot of transcoding, there's legitimate value in having an Intel Arc card in your computer just as a transcode card.
Like, if you're doing a lot of transcoding, having 2 cards is worthwhile because you can then do 4 streams at a time.
Yeah.
Sure.
And someone said, sort of, oh yeah, and also it will do AV1 encoding. And I said, yeah, but the problem there is that in Twitch and YouTube don't have. Yes, that's annoying me as well. Twitch and YouTube, it was a hair. We have removed it. Twitch and YouTube don't properly support streaming in AV1 yet, in a useful sense.
Yeah.
And the problem there is, it's like, oh yeah, well that's coming, right? But also, the NVIDIA 40 series now supports AV1 encoding.
And the AMD 7000 series support it as well.
That's it. So by the time that Twitch and YouTube have real support for AV1 encoding, all the AMD and NVIDIA graphics cards will also have general support for it. So now suddenly Intel's key advantage, that big thing that the Intel Arc could do that no one else could do, they've caught up. They can do that now. By the time it's actually something that anyone cares about, everyone else has already arrived to the party.
Yeah. But it was also the case of it wasn't even a thing that overly mattered because the 4090 came out with AV1 support and the 4090 launched on the same day as the A770 did.
Yeah, so yeah, Arc was kind of dead on arrival there.
Yeah.
It's a cheap option, but also I have done testing, and because you know, you could say sort of, oh, but what if I wanted to get Arc as a dedicated encoder card, so my graphics card was free to do the game encode, run the game. I've tested this, and in OBS, it's not useful, because the problem is that yes, you can do your encoding on a dedicated graphics card, but your main graphics card still has to export the frame out of the frame buffer into your encoder card. That's still overhead on your GPU. So it doesn't actually solve the actual core problem. And if your graphics card is going to the trouble of exporting the frame out of the frame buffer to the video encoder, it doesn't actually matter if that video encoder is in another location in the GPU or on another graphics card. It's still work done to move the frame somewhere else. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
So it doesn't actually solve any issues. So a dedicated video encoder card isn't actually useful in the real world.
It'd only be useful if you had a 4K 120 hertz pass-through capture card, and you put your output from your graphics card into that capture card, use the capture card to capture it, and then use the encoder card to encode it.
Yeah.
That's the only way it'd be useful. And at such point, you're already massively overcomplicating it for 0.5% or maybe 2% performance gain.
Yeah. Shelley says, Battle Mage will come free with a bundled copy of Half-Life 3. Zing. And also the A380 is really good for a media streaming box. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a cheap media decoder card because you could slap one of those in your media box and know that you have full support for all video decoding when playing back. And also it just means that your media box can also actually do video transcoding for you. Yeah. So if you download your movie in a weird format, you can actually rely on your media box to transcode it. Whereas typically, if someone's using like just whatever cheap, nasty hardware they've got lying around for a media encoder box, it's not really able to do their transcoding for them. And you don't really want to do transcoding on your main rig because you can't play games at the same time. So, I mean, you can, but it's not ideal. There is a performance hit. So yes. Cool. Right. That guy is clean. I'm going to put that on the done shelf.
Indeed.
I will call the customer on Tuesday and tell them that their laptop is ready to go.
And that they are very lucky.
Yeah. That can go in the bin pile.
Excellent.
Excellent. Yes.
Very well.
All right. That's
On
a
that
shame
note-
that's a shame that LCD was broken. Otherwise, we'd have, because it just means that there's still one of those ones left in the stack to do. But yeah, I'll call the customer on Tuesday anyway, because I haven't actually authorised these repairs with them, I must confess. However, I've done work for them in the past, and it's a case of like, they're going to go with the repairs. They have laptops, they want them fixed, they're going to agree to the repairs. So yeah.
Cool. Very well.
All right. Hello, Slide Dive. Have I missed much? Yes, everything.
We
I'm
are
afraid.
leaving
This is the point where you scrub back and start watching the VOD.
at 2x speed.
Yes, definitely at 2x speed for how fast I've been talking. I've definitely been in that because I've got I don't talk fast on a good day, and I've been drinking, so I'm just like, so that Intel Arc graphics card, they're really pushing the boundaries. Okay, I've done the bit.
Well done.
Yeah, I think we're out. What cider are we drinking? I have been drinking Hogan's Peaty Deep and Smoky Dry Cider. I will. We didn't know who sent in the Hogans, did we?
No.
No. Yeah. If anyone who sent the Hogans wants to be known, then do speak up. But otherwise, thank you very much for the Hogans. Yeah, we did enjoy this stuff. We don't like all the flavours, but they're all interesting.
Yeah.
Even the salty one, I don't like it, but it's kind of interesting, and I'm glad that there's people out there making wacky ciders.
Yeah, and it's also a case of it's nice that it's a decent cider.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So yeah, this was a good cider. I could drink another one of those quite happily. Whereas there's been a couple of ciders I've drunk recently where, like when you've had a cider and you're like, oh, it doesn't sit well with me kind of thing. I've had that with a few I've tried recently where I've drunk it and been like, oof, afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good cider. I've got 4 bottles of Westies to drink. Very nice.
In one go. Vintage. One after the other.
Oh no. Please do not. Alcoholic. For the April Fools next year, both of you just got to stare at the camera drinking Asda Tramp Paint Stripper cider. No, but that's a fun idea.
Just pull out a 5-litre bottle of IPA and just...
Oh no.
And actually, it's just water.
We could do a cider cooled PC, but
Yes.
we'd have to buy like a cheap pump that we will... Or, I don't know, could you, if you take the pump apart, like it's not going to wreck the bearings and the rotor could be cleaned up. If you ran cider through a pump, could you actually fix the pump afterwards?
I mean, I don't see it really being much of an issue.
Yeah.
Because you could just put water through it afterwards.
I mean, it's going to leave a sticky, sweet, sugar-filled residue on everything.
Maybe?
It's not far off running it's not far off running Coca-Cola through it.
Yeah, but also, I don't see there being that much of an issue if it's in there, then you take it out, then you put water in there, and it doesn't dry.
Yeah, as long as you don't... if you daily drove it for 6 months, you'd wreck it, but yeah.
I don't see there being that much...
If you're just doing it for the bit, yeah.
I don't see there being that much issue, given it would all be wet and only in there for a few hours, kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe next year, cider cooled PC. We'll have to check if anyone else has done that, but cider. We'll have to see if anyone else has done. I'm sure someone has water cooled with cider. We can't be the first people to think of that.
Oh, I don't know.
But yeah, fair enough. All right, I've enjoyed this conversation in English. Thank you for tuning in, everyone.
Thank you for being here.
Yep, use one of those cheap sink pressure pumps. We could do. Yeah, that could be part of the bit, actually. We just find whatever really bonkers hardware. We find some cheap pond pump or sink pressure pump. The radiator will get a car heat exchanger, but something that we could plausibly fit into the PC or something, and we just do the most...
The heat exchanger out of a Fiat Punto.
Yeah, in America, you do a hillbilly setup. What's the UK equivalent of hillbilly? We need to think of that and then try and do that Water cooling. Hillbilly water cooling, but British.
That's okay. Thank you for
Scottish.
that.
Ooh.
See? People like the dad jokes.
Well, for better or for worse, you are the co-host of this podcast.
And if I wasn't here, it wouldn't happen.
And you have partial... If you weren't here, I don't know if I'd bother doing it solo every week. So, yeah.
Welsh water cooling. You just get Welsh water, the finest water from the valleys.
Yeah. Essex boys will get Cy back in. Wait, he's from Kent. Oh, it's the same thing. Ha ha ha! On that bombshell, thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Goodbye.
Later! Bye!